Alright. Welcome for those who watch the recording on YouTube. For those in the Discord, call now. Please make sure if you're fucking around with things, put it away, as they say. We return. Welcome everyone for those who are watching. Back to the Sunday. Well, no real name having been picked at this point. At this time, still kind of pending here. We continue forward with the Sunday. I'll call it my Sunday shenanigans for right now until I get a party name here. We join in with a new party, having not left off previously. Last Sunday campaign was the end, I believe, of Rejected Potential, with the party now coming into the First Age. If you're not familiar with the First Age, do not worry. For those who watch or follow along, we'll be doing a bunch of Creators Creation coming forward with videos for that to kind of explain this world and its setting. But until then, we're going to kind of jump right into the action. Firstly, I'm going to do things a little different. So I'm gonna have, before we do the kind of intro, to get you guys kind of into the story and caught up to where we're at, I'm gonna have the players kind of introduce themselves, all but one of them, as they will come in a little later. Everyone good with that? Anybody have an issue with that?
I'm savvy.
Cool. Alright. Then yeah, so we'll start at the very top. Thank you for volunteering while you crack a drink. Kesnanach, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Yeah. So, Kesnanach is a half-breed, fire giant and storm giant. They are in the appearance of a small for a fire giant. They look quite feminine. Long hair, soft face, wide hips. You know, everything that you need to be a femboy, right? Which is essentially what Kesnanach is. Kesnanach is donned in clerical robes with a mace at their side and a large shield strapped to their back. And that's it.
Alright. Thank you, Kesnanach. For next, Ned Grassentrees, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello there. I'm Ned Grassentrees. I'm about 15 foot tall, 5 inches, 4,800 pounds. I wander the forest mostly. I have a group of friends and all. One interesting thing about me is that, my parents experimented with plants and did some interesting things. And so my skin is green, my hair is green, my eyes are green. You might have noticed that my singlet is made out of leaves. So, just a normal old guy. This here is Hootie, my owl. He's a large white owl with big round wired glasses. Don't worry about him. He also has a band named the Blowfish.
Sorry. Alright. Thank you, Ned Grassentrees. Let me, wait. Oh, Uldrin, would you also like to, go ahead and go next?
My name is Uldrin. I am also a half-breed. I am half fire giant, half gray dragon. I am 7'1", weigh 264 pounds, as I am a lightweight. I am also the youngest in the party, seemingly. Attire is business casual, and I have a fox mask on my belt.
As you lot kinda... Oh, there you go. There's no picture posted currently. I'll post some stuff for the Discord, or up in the, for the next video and get that all set up so that way you can see what the characters look like in full. Thank you all. As we kind of jump into this, you all, we start with Kesnanok. After a few years, Kesnok, of traveling around the fire giant area looking for the person responsible for your situation, you'd heard story of another like yourself, someone else who had supposedly been cursed.
Well then.
That was my alarm going off that my food was ready.
Go ahead. Go take your minute, man. The great... the great automaton awakens. This is what the Illithids have always been working on in the background, gentlemen.
Oh my god. How many licks does it take to get to the center of this Tootsie Pop?
Just don't let Mike see that's a thing for you. He's got a thing for the toes version of that video. I'll wait for a moment until Kesnanok gets back. While we take a second.
You know, I never even noticed that thing had toes.
Alright. So, we'll start with you, Kesnanok. Now that you have your food and have silenced the automaton in the distance that the Illithids weren't totally planning to use to wipe out the world, you having spent many of your early days traveling around looking for the one who had caused your current situation, after hearing tale of rumors of another individual like yourself who had been supposedly cursed, you headed to the east out of the fire giant territories and into what would be the Movasi's empire, and mostly the wild open road. A few weeks go by of traveling until you finally would come across a bar or a random open tavern, meeting a very unique looking fire giant. You and who you learn to soon be Aldrin slowly become fast friends as you discuss your own experiences and situations. Not really knowing, not really finding out the answer that you were looking for. Aldrin's own situation being vastly different from your own. The two of you begin traveling as almost compatriots as almost a brother in arms of a similar situation. As you continue heading south, after hearing more rumors about some supposed way of protecting or managing to break this curse, the two of you would find yourselves heading south along the river. Upon finding a small group of adventurers, you would meet a young druid who seemed to be kind of surprised at the world, learning much of it and still kind of figuring out things. A lot of you would end up hiring on the mysterious Nedgrass and trees. As you continued heading south towards what was the supposed city of Hrimpursar's last hold, where there was a doctor or a cleric or someone of the who could practice medicine, known to be capable to cure curses to the level that you had managed to be hit with, Kesnanok. With the three of you now gathered together, heading down the river using a rough put-together raft with the use of druidic magic and some trees and rope, the lot of you barely managing to hold on, find yourselves finally arriving at one of the southern cities of Krakek, eventually managing to get a ride on a skyship from a man named Hagnid, who would introduce himself after seeing you a lot barely surviving on your raft. As he would offer to give you a ride to where he was heading and to visit his shop, you lot climbed aboard his skyship willingly, and after meeting a couple of his crew and seeing them, this hardy, very kind of messed up, bruised, cut up, and many of them looking worse for wear's crew, who seem to have a large container of slaves from raiding, as well as other such creatures that they had captured in cages. You lot find yourselves about on this ship for about a day before you finally come to find yourselves landing in the skyship docks of Hrimpursar's last hold, a massive icy city that seems to almost open up as you enter in through the outer high raised docks that have been set up. The mountain itself that this city seems to sit in seems to almost been hollowed out, with the top of it kind of being opened up to allow sunlight down even to the deepest of areas. Icy buildings kind of strewn about and stacked on top of each other, with beautiful art kind of strewing the streets of people carving up. You do notice slaves walking around pretty freely as you lot start to disembark onto this dock, seeing other skyships landing, other raiding parties pulling slaves. The lot of you see Hagnon kind of ushering you down to follow him further into the city, as you lot find yourselves now in the city of Hrimpursar's last hold. Anything you would like to do, Aldrin, Ned Glassentries, or Kezenok?
I'm just going to pull out my little collections bucket
Mm-hmm.
and just start walking up to random people in the city.
Just asking for coin.
Yep.
All
Or
right.
any kind of donations that they would like for my grove.
All right. You see.
Dan's a beggar.
Yeah, you see you're in this like dock area. You see there are sailors coming off. So many of them having like covered in gems and jewels, carrying large lengths of groups of slaves and wild beasts you've never seen before, Ned. As you walk up to a group of them that you see look especially glimmering, and as you've kind of learned from talking with Keznok and Uldren, usually shiny metal things usually means wealthy, and more willing to give, from what you kind of gathered. And so as you head over to this group of Vikinger, this group of tall frost giants, they kind of look at you, somewhat standing almost on equal height. I believe most of them are a few inches taller than you. The largest of the bunch, who stands about a foot taller, kind of steps forward and looks down at you, and kind of just like snorts in your face and goes, "What do you want?"
Well, hey there, friend. My name is Ned Glassentries, and I just stick my hand out and start shaking his. I was just wondering if you wanted to donate any of their goods to my grove.
You see his hands are like on his like next to his weapon. You kind of grab his hand away from his weapon and just start shaking it as he looks confused at you for a moment, almost kind of shocked. The rest of the crew kind of steps back for a moment, a little gassed, and he looks at you and goes, "You know, it's not often we get people around here that aren't afraid to come up and ask and be kind. You know what?" And he puts a gold piece into your into your bucket and goes, "I respect you. What's your name?"
My name is Ned Glassentries.
Ned Grassentry. He's like, "All right, I understand. I'm gonna keep that in mind, Ned. You ever need us? You come find. You ever need anything? You come down here." And he kind of smiles at you at that, and goes, "You can call me." And he kind of, as he's about to speak, tell you his name, you hear a captain from one of the ships shouting, cutting him off as they seem to suddenly just turn and start rushing towards the ship and getting on board as they start pulling off a bunch of slaves, materials, chests, stuff like that.
What a nice gentleman. And I'm just like looking at my coin, all happy, walking back to the rest of them.
Yeah, alright. As you head back towards the party, Keznanok and Uldren, you just watch this kind of happen, and Hagnon is still just waiting patiently by one of the gates for you guys to kind of catch up as he sees you acclimating and looking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got nothing on my mind right now, unless there's I assume there's no medical houses or.
Not at the docks. Yeah,
I
you
would
look
assume so.
about, you see most of the people are going into the gate, through the main gate, and further into the city, where you can see it kind of opens up and becomes a lot more bustling and vibrant. Music kind of plays gently on the air. Actually, you know what? In fact, let's see. Give me a search check for that, actually, Keznok.
Sure. Unfortunately, it's half of my sheet is up on the on the session list, so let me get to the other sheet.
You're good.
I opened two. I have one on view sheet, and I opened another one on the session.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know
I
why
just
it always
basically
shows like
work
a
on the one.
chunk.
You don't really even need the session open. There's not a lot on there that you need to really see, other than like if your other players decide to write something.
Yep, that's really it. And you can,
Alright.
and that updates you can check back on that at any point.
11.
11. All right. As you kind of watch and look about, as the party kind of starts walking towards Hagnon, generally in that direction, for a moment you look up and you kind of eye a few things. You see a few businesses, but all of them being in this frost giant style. It's too hard for you, or it's too much to kind of recognize any sort of like hospital sign or medical sign or anything of the sort. Nothing kind of catches your eye at first. As you look, Uldren, was there anything you'd like to do?
Yes, I would like to go and see if I could find someone in the art of business of intelligence. See if I could find out any information of people of importance about this city and or nearby.
From your
Art of the deal?
Yeah, during your travel here, you would have gained at least a general knowledge that Hagnon is one of the biggest merchants in the entire stronghold. He's also, as you would have all caught on by his continuous ranting anytime you asked him about Utham, the biggest Utham fanboy you would ever meet. As he has signed like little autographed like paintings of him, designed little figurines of him all throughout his cabin. Stories about his great deeds and travels that Utham doesn't even remember writing or having written about him. Otherwise, as you kind of look about at the still at the docks or the docks here, you see a couple of captains here and there of the Vikinger, but none of them kind of stick out to you as someone of noteworthiness. They although unique, they don't seem to be anybody of power or control here.
Okay.
But I will keep that in mind while you kind of are watching. In fact, actually, why don't you give me a search check as well? Keep that in mind.
Right. That is a 18.
18, okay. As you kind of start to look about, you really start to realize most of the people at this dock actually, in fact, seem to be nothing higher than your average soldier. At best, most of them may have some juicy information, but you kind of, as you look around, listening and kind of focusing on a few of them, realize it'd probably be easier to go to a tavern and hear their discussions and try and stick around here gathering information from them.
I will approach someone at the dock.
Okay. Any one of the captains? Are you looking for just a normal crew member? Anything or any specific people or creatures that they'd be hauling?
Just a member of a crew.
Okay.
No one special.
Yeah, as the group starts heading towards Hagnon, you kind of step off to the side for a moment, seeing a group kind of gathered, talking about the day's earnings. A few of them handing coin to each other, joking. One of them kind of turns to you. You see he's got a weird scar on his right eye, with the eye completely colored over, and doesn't seem to be wearing any sort of a chest piece, just a very strong leather skirt or kilt, and what looks to be a couple daggers on his side as he turns and looks at you.
Hello. I wanted to know if you could point me in the direction of a nearby tavern.
And he just kind of, you see him kind of pause for a second, and he kind of like puts his hand on your shoulder and just starts bellowing, laughing, as the rest of his crew starts laughing as well. He kind of, as it kind of goes for a few moments, almost uncomfortable few moments, he kind of stops and looks down at you and goes, "Oh, we don't get laughs like that very often around here. Oh, slaves don't get to go to taverns, silly."
I think I fail to understand what you mean.
He kind of looks at you and goes, "You're not a slave?"
No. No, I am not.
What? Why would a fire giant be? He kind of looks you up and down for a moment and goes, "You even smell like coal." Huh. Well, my apologies, as he kind of like puts his hand in his chest for a second, kind of pats it, or slams it twice, and he goes, "I, fully misunderstood. We don't get many of your kind, in these parts." That takes a minute and goes, Adventuring Guild. Yes. There's only thing of an adventuring guild around here is the Last Breath. Unless you're looking for more like a magic guild, which would be the Challenging Raven. They're both in town. If you're with Hagnon, he should be able to point you in the right way.
Okay, thank you.
He kind of
Good
nods.
And then I'll go and join back up with the rest of the party.
Yeah, as you turn back and catch up with the rest, the other two, Hagnon kind of ushers you all three over and goes, "So as I was saying, when Utham was born, did you know that the man managed to single-handedly strangle 2 of the Arctic mains with his bare hands? I've even got the tooth from one of the mains to prove it. You had to pay a pretty penny to get that, though." As he pulls out his little necklace with a tooth on it. As none of
Wow.
Would you care to donate it?
Oh my god.
you... No, of course not. I would never donate something from our fearless leader. That guy is perfect in every single way. You know how much this could go?
Well, you know, I figured I could teach my Grove about the stories. It'd be easier if I had the, to show them.
Bryce, is this like a similar thing to like the like pieces of the cross?
You can give me a sense motive check to see if you can tell if that's what this guy's giving off.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if this guy could fully believe it. I'm just wondering if it's that kind of situation where he fell into it, like, purchased a chunk of the cross that Jesus was crucified on.
I mean, it looks like it, as you look it up and down, you can give me an appraisal check instead if you want to see if it's a legit thing, if it's legit.
Yeah.
Like if the item is legit. Alright, let's see what you get.
Yeah, let me just move on over here. Appraisal check 7.
You take a minute and you kind of look as he's pointing to it, and as Ned Grassentrees is kind of holding up his bucket expectingly. You've never seen an Arctic main before? Sure.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Probably it could be. You got no reason to say it isn't.
Yeah, I can't really say it is. Can't say it isn't. Might as well just go by this man's word.
Ned, why don't you go ahead and give me... I'm gonna say this is a bluff check, 'cause I have a feeling you're not going to be using this to teach your Grove about and you're gonna turn around and sell it, so give me a bluff check. Let's see what you got.
What are your intentions here, sir?
I mean, I don't know. 18.
18. He looks at you and goes, "You know what? I got a spare one right here." As he pulls out the other another chain and sets it in there and goes, "Listen, yeah, I appreciate that I found another fan of Utham." Yeah, he puts his arm around you and kind of pulls you in close. "You're just like my youngest." He's a huge fan of his as well. "I'll introduce you. I think you two would get along quite great."
Well, I'd love to meet him.
He smiles and goes, "Good, don't, you will. By the way," he kind of turns, he goes, "Aldrin, you said you were looking for the Adventurers Guild, right?"
Yes, I was looking for a local tavern to get some information.
Well, taverns around here, you're not going to find many cities at this point that got their own taverns set up, because there's just not enough money in it, because a lot of people don't travel these days. A lot of the guilds get them set up, though. He kind of looks at you and goes, 2 stories up. If you go up that way," he points down the road, down this nice long icy road. There's a little river that's somewhat kind of slightly sloshing in between like most of the roads, with bridges kind of crossing over to either side. It's very pleasant here, very quiet and quaint. As he kind of points up, you see this large, look like a sign with a storm or a frost giant blowing, and you read below it in giant. It reads the Last Breath Adventuring Guild. As he kind of points to it, and then he points to right above it, 1 street up. You see a raven, or a design of a raven on a board that's somewhat tipped over, and below it reads in giant, "The Challenging Raven."
Okay.
Also, if you need me to write those names down, do let me know.
Please do. I want to make sure I'm spelling it right.
Yeah, I got you. And I will grab that. So there's the guild name and the magic guild name, and then the adventuring guild name. It's right there. There you
All right, thank you.
He kind of nods and he looks the other back over at Kesnock and Ned as you start to kind of see the city expand out. And he goes, "My business," as he kind of points about down the road past the docks, back towards where you came. And he goes, "I own the Frostwind business down there. Trust me, you can't miss it. We got 3 dockyards and a full setup. If you miss us, you should get your eyes checked." He kind of smiles at that as he pats Ned on the back, still kind of awkwardly holding him really closely. And he looks at you a lot and goes, "I got some more business in town I gotta take care of with some of the locals. Y'all gonna be good to walk around town and be on your own, I assume? I know you said you were coming here for something, but for the life of me, I'm gonna be honest, with everything going on, I've fully forgotten."
That's okay. I forgot myself.
Yeah, same.
He nods and goes, "Well, best of luck to you." And he kind of like turns and starts walking off. You lot find yourselves now standing in the middle of this opened up, mountainous, icy city. Somewhat cold, but I believe most of you have cold weather clothing, correct?
That's funny. You think I had enough money to purchase that kind of stuff?
Part of the agreement of them starting here was they would have cold weather clothing.
Yeah,
so yes, I'll
okay.
have cold weather clothing.
Yeah, they'll be getting that here in a bit. Okay, I wanted to make sure if anybody else
Yeah.
has bought in the group. Okay. Yeah, so right now, still pretty frosty for most of you. In fact, with it being -50 outside, the fly-in was not very pleasant, as most of those with any facial hair would have felt it completely freeze. Yeah, I'll put that temperature in there just so that way, in case you didn't really. And as you come inside the mountain itself, it seems to kind of warm up back up to like almost a 30-ish degrees. It's still freezing cold, but it's definitely warmer. And you can see there are a lot of lights and fires that people have set up inside their houses. Smoke seems to bellow out of the cave. But yeah, you lot are standing now in the center of this city with different directions to go. You can go back towards the dockyard to head to Hognan's Frostwind, or you can head the direction he pointed for the 2 guilds. Or if you'd like to head towards the castle or somewhere else to look for. Kesnock, with your search check earlier, I will say, as you're kind of watching and looking about, you do see off in the distance a large clinic with clerics like people of the cloth coming out and rushing in as people are either being rushed in screaming, or the occasional like casuals are walking in off in the distance. So you do spot a clinic. But yeah, so
Interesting.
where would the party like to go? Go ahead, Aldrin.
I would like to remind you all that we might get mistaken to be slaves. So do be careful.
What's a slave?
Someone who happens to be another person's property, similar to how you would see a pet, but you make them do jobs and labor.
Well, Hoody's not my property. He's just a good friend.
Well, yes. Unfortunately, not everyone might share that same view. So, just a reminder to be careful.
Okay.
Well, before we split off and do our things, I definitely think we should check in with the Last Breath Adventuring Guild, and then maybe hit up the what was it called again? The Frost whatchamacallit? The Frostwind, that's it.
Then, sounds like a plan. Let's get it done.
All right. As you start heading down one of the main streets, a few of the frost giants seem to give you a bit of a wide berth, not really kind of looking to get close to any of you. You all notice you stick out pretty vibrantly, let's put it, as you're traveling with a bright green, shaking druid who's cold, quite cold, I imagine.
To be fair, I know I didn't really express what my clerical robes
Yeah.
looks like. I mean, it's kind of like when you think of like a priest,
Mm-hmm.
like an old like a monk priest. It's kind of like those robes,
Yeah, no, I'm familiar. I was getting
but
to it. Don't worry, I got you. Yeah.
they're like black and gold, which are the
Gotcha.
colors of Ella Ugbo, which I
Mhm.
would assume. I'm just me putting there.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, as you, still, with the cold hitting all of you, you start heading towards, the guild. People still giving you a wide berth. You don't see, Keznok, any others, who bear similar colors or marks to you, as your, of your god. As you head in, though, the guild opens up this massive tavern. The smell of sour milk heavily on the air. The ales being passed around. People jovially joking and laughing. Frost giants having a good time left and right. As you see some merchants who are set up with little shops in there, seem to be tossing out coin, throwing out different items to people. And as you enter into this large open tavern, a massive looking frost giant, even by the average frost giant standard, almost easily mistaken for a storm giant, comes walking over with this weird kind of torn up right arm that seems to have strange like scars and scratches and marks all over it, flesh kind of being pulled off and poked out in different directions. You see he has a massive like beer belly that kind of bounces as he walks and talks. As he comes walking over, holding under one like arm almost a tiny or a somewhat shorter looking figure. Dom, if you would like to describe yourself.
Yeah, am I
Yeah.
unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted. You're good.
Yeah, you
Okay.
do hear
It
here.
shows me Discord. So that's a bit of a problem. Let me attach the image real quick, and then I will begin my description. So the fire giant you see approaching you stands at roughly 16 feet 9 inches. It is a surprising how lean this figure seems. Even with the bulky clothes, it is very apparent he does not meet the bulky stature of the people you've seen thus far. And he also doesn't match the skin color because this is a fellow fire giant, just seeming to be a fire giant. He's adorned in winter clothes, but he is notably not garbed in normal colors. He has very light brown tan shades of like brown and tan with gold and copper and kind of these metallic shades, and then a belt with bright gems. And he doesn't appear armed. No armor, no weapons, nothing threatening, just a backpack and his clothes. He has longer hair that has been a bit ceremonially tied up. He doesn't look like nobility, but he looks well kept, like he is used to keeping his presentation good. A very clean shaven, sort of small beard, like face paint that's dark around his eyes, and he, I guess, will approach the party rather happily.
Yeah, as you do, Boloff Frostcrusher kind of shoves you forward a little bit and looks at the rest of the group and goes, I assume you're the lot that Hagnon told us about that was coming through these parts." And he takes and goes, "This is little Dom. He'll be your guide. We've already been informed of you lot showing up here, so don't worry about it." And he kind of smiles as he pushes the smaller fire giant forward a little bit and then turns and takes his leave. The smell of sour milk kind of emanating off of this older frost giant.
Yeah, you'd see Dom kind of very dexterous, quick on his feet, like catch his weight sort of effortlessly as he's shoved, not seeming too caught off guard at all by it. And he just gives his so friendly introduction. Domnander will smile at the party and introduce himself. "Greetings, I'm Domnander Cortalis. Well, I suppose I'm sort of here to guide you on behalf of Oregon. I know you probably are experiencing a very interesting welcome given you are fire eye. But I assure you, the Hirmer here are a very great people. They're just not so used to folks like us.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anybody that is used to folk like me.
Well, I think there is a value in being unique, personally. Can I get your names? I believe I've heard it's good to be properly introduced.
Well, I'm Ned Grass and Trees.
I am Kesnanok.
I hold out my hand. You can call me Aldrin.
He will very quickly take it. His hands are again wrapped in cloth, so they are covered, but you can feel that his hands are calloused a little bit. This is a man who and just doesn't have the muscle mass to show for it.
Yeah, as you shake hands, you do notice the rest of the guild has kind of started to watch you lot. The kind of talk seems to have died down, and it's gotten kind of somewhat not quiet, but definitely more down to a comfortable murmur where people are having more close conversations. It seems.
Is there a
Does it
place
seem
where we
like-
need to register?
Well, that would out of character. That would be the Adventuring Guild, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure you've heard of it. The Last Breath Adventuring Guild is where we would go to check in. There shouldn't be
Wow.
anything too intensive.
That's crazy, because that's where we are we not?
That's
Yeah.
where you are right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were outside of it.
No.
Sorry, that was an issue on my end.
No, they
I thought
walked
we
in
had-
and you were being carried.
Dragged.
Okay, I did
It's
not
like,
get that part.
Yeah, that's why we came here.
So then I'll recover this. As he says this, he'll flash the party a grin and gesture to the front desk. And because we're in the building. Yeah, I totally knew that. That was intentional.
As you do, you all look over, and where you'd expect to see like some cute receptionist, some young gal, or new adventurer maybe, you see the old Boloff sitting there picking at something on his toe that is oozing slightly as he pops it. And as he kind of notices you all looking over at him, he suddenly shoves his feet back down underneath it and tosses the little toothpick he was messing with into a wall, watching it slightly implants into the wall beam.
A little bit of the goop just leaking.
Oozes down, yeah.
Huh, grody.
Unsightly.
Well, I suppose I will make introductions. This way. This is Bolaf Frost Crusher. Bolaf, these are the adventurers who've been getting attention lately from the locals. Any kind of Riley chuckles, probably knowing the experience you guys have had a bit with people.
Bolov kind of seeing this and kind of just starts kind of bellowing out laughter with Dom Nander for a minute, and then looks at the rest of you and goes, You look prettier than my wife, I'm gonna be honest, as he looks up at Kesnanok.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I bet you do. And he kind of nods and goes, Alright. And kind of stands up. The belly jiggles as he does so. The smell kind of wafts and finally hits your nostrils. Everyone other than Dom, give me a fortitude save, please.
Yeah, I'm built tolerant.
14.
16.
16. And Aldrin?
Okay, so I have to roll here because it's not letting me roll on the sheet.
Yeah, that happens. You're good. There. Oh no, you're getting the grumpy session 1 luck.
No, not the grumpy.
No.
So, man rolled only 5s his first session. Literally only 5s. As both Ned and Kesnok, you managed to kind of hold it down for a moment, with the smell slightly bothersome, but nothing you're not used to at this point, having traveled so long. Aldrin, this smell, It's not something you've had to deal with before. You don't train. You're not the guy who goes out and like beats the crap out of other sweaty men and gets really up and close like that.
I used to be the sweaty guy.
Yeah, that smell is something very new and very unpleasant as it hits your stomach.
I try to hold it in.
Yeah, you barely. You try to give me another fortitude save. Let's see if you can.
Hey, Aldrin, do you need some water? You good, man?
I'm gonna be honest. I have never been around someone with such a unique scent.
The older Frost Giant just starts laughing. The belly jiggling, the smell intensifying, and Aldrin
Good sign.
Aldrin barely manages to hold in what's in his mouth as he's about to vomit. Swallowing deep. As you do so, the smell seems to slightly dissipate, and as you kind of start to get somewhat used to it, but knowing this is a scent that's going to stick with you for a while, Boloff looks at all three of you, and then looks back over at Dom, and then smiles. The yellow teeth that slightly have holes in them, and some of them are broken and shattered. He looks at you all a lot and goes, "So what can I do for you, youngins?" Welcome back.
Me and the rest of my compatriots are wondering if we need to register with this guild here to adventure and take on jobs.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Utham's a lot more free-spirited with his jobs. Some nations aren't, some are, fully understandable. And he goes, all you gotta do is, you see that board? And he points to a board with a bunch of pieces of paper, like, that says quests, and, like, has rewards, different monsters painted on it, and stuff like that. And he goes, that over there, you pick one from there, you come over here, you say you're gonna do the job so I don't give it to someone else, and we don't end up with people trying to kill each other for, coin. Pretty much all there is. You want to register, you want to look at the specific, like, magic guilds, the fighting guilds, stuff like that, that'll put you with an organization. Not many of them popped up, but on my travels, I've only seen, like, 2. I think King's End might have one if you're looking.
I've heard there's at least a magic guild here, but it's not really my thing.
Understandable. He has, old Gerso. He's he's one of them half-breed fire giants, and a frost giant. Ain't well loved by most people around these parts, so don't blame me for not wanting to deal with him.
I mean, most of us are half-breeds as well.
Kind of like, you see almost like the registry for in his eyes for a moment as he kind of like rubs his eyes and then kind of looks over and he goes, I thought y'all were just ugly.
Dom looks like a bit amused in the side.
Huh. Well, alright. Y'all are, I don't want to know what made half y'all so small, and he looks at Aldrin and then looks over at Kesnanok and goes,
I'm cursed.
Aren't we all? And he looks over at Ned and goes, you got the best deal of the lot, didn't you, big green buddy?
Well,
I'm pretty sure he's full.
Me.
Wait, what?
Pretty sure he's a full breed.
He starts laughing at that as you mentioned that as well. He kind of jolly laughs and continues on. He goes, alright. Well, if you need anything, we do have some top rangers that do offer classes that'll train you if you want to learn how to live off the land and such like that. He kind of belches suddenly as you see a little fishbone kind of fall out of his mouth and land on the desk, and he looks at it and kind of looks back up at you lot and then kind of grabs it and like puts it under the desk.
Honestly, I was like, that's a good toothpick.
You take a minute to realizing that as you look over at the side and you realize that wasn't a normal, that was a fishbone he was using to pick at his foot.
I know.
Hey.
Yeah, Dom's not commenting on anything out loud that's happening, but he is watching all of this.
In my mind, I'm like, man, that could cause some serious infection.
He just kind of smiles and goes, so, what, we got some, you lot are youngins, you know what, and he kind of stands up from the chair. You watch it, he like pulls up his pants a little bit more to straighten him out, as he jostles his gutter and he kind of like steps around from around the desk, walks over to the board, kind of ushering you lot to follow him. And he goes, "Alright, let's see. You're new here. Y'all don't look like you're put together too well. Well, Utham's offering a special right now. There's some cold winter clothing for anyone taking on any of his quests. So if you're looking for some free clothing, I see as y'all are kind of shivering. I take it you're not big on the cold."
Not so much.
I could cut glass.
Lieutenant Young goes, "I bet you could." He kind of smiles. His toothy smiles. He looks back up and goes, "I don't know why you couldn't cut glass. It's real fragile. Anyways, there's we got a young adult fire boar that we're offering. For anybody who can find us a healthy ant queen quest or ant queen nest. Just location. You don't have to necessarily be the one to grab her. We'll send some people to help you. Now y'all don't." He looks you up and down and goes, "Y'all probably don't want that quest. Yeah, you're probably not gonna live long enough to survive. Thread's offering 50% of his company in exchange for a breeding pair of rockheap if you can find some, but that means you gotta go to the base of the mountain. Don't know how much you want to get involved in that. Let's see. I got one here for you. Old Hagnon is looking for a scouting location for some Arctic mains near this new silver mine. He wants to know where they're popping up. Just looking to find them. He doesn't need you to kill them. He'll pay 200 gold pieces to the lot of you if you can manage to figure out where they're hiding out and where their breeding camps are. And then I got 2 guild requests from Utham himself. Well, shit." He kind of looks them over and goes, "I didn't know he posted these. Bastard never. He always comes in here, posts things, doesn't tell me anything. He runs the kingdom, tells me I gotta just do it." And he kind of like goes off on a tangent for a moment and then kind of looks back at it and goes, "It says some freelance work for some patrols. It's payment based on any creature slain, so the stronger the creature, the more of them you kill, the more money you get paid." And then he's got something about scouting for a location for a male and female 12-headed hydra. Cryo or pyro focus. The pair just needs to be a matched species if you capture them. And as far as it goes, if you can just find them, he's paying 500 just for a location. Though, y'all probably don't look like the traveling type, so I would not recommend that necessarily. But if you manage to find something nearby, you'll probably die, but at least you might get a good payment out of it.
So do you guys feel like patrolling, or what's your choice?
I like
I'm
walking.
here to. I was going to say I'm here to assist you all, but I speak from experience. Utham pays well. If you are willing to any job he might have posted.
I was thinking something similar. You know, best get in the good graces of a ruler.
Anything I can smack with my bonk stick, and I hold up my club.
That's a very nice bong stick, Ned.
Well,
It's very nice.
What kind of wood is that?
Hard.
Oak.
A very, very strong wood.
Specifically
nonetheless,
oak,
yeah,
because the shillelagh spell mentions oak.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, good,
So
smart.
my dear traveling companion, was it Ulrich? Was it Ulrich?
Aldrin?
Aldrin.
Yeah, if you
That's
look in
what
the
it is.
Discord, it's also Caleb's updated his name.
Oh, great. Aldrin, do you have any input to what we do, as you are a member of the party?
I would very much. Well, if what our new compatriot says is true, and it is probably beneficial to get in the good graces of the local king, it probably would be best to do one of his privately requested quests. But I am slightly concerned on the potential survival chances.
based on the vomit swallow, I'd imagine Aldrin just wants to leave. He's pretty loud, by the way.
Well, based on the quest itself, it just seems we have to find the creatures. We don't have to actually.
One of them is just a patrol mission, and we just get paid based on the creatures we kill.
I wanted to be nice to you guys with one of the quests.
Yeah, I wasn't saying we should go find a breeding pair of hydras, Aldrin.
It would be rather ambitious of you, but I agree that is probably not the
ain't that
best
guy,
thing to jump
Aldrin.
into.
We ain't that guy.
Look, I have high hopes for us.
Optimism
patrol
is
quest.
good, but
Yeah, we'll just do that one.
The patrol. You're wanting the patrol quest, huh?
Yeah.
All right. He nods and goes, "Okay." And takes it off the board, and brings it over to the table, and like stamps a wax seal on it. And he goes, "All right. Let me flip it over." He starts reading it. He goes, "All right." And he starts snapping his fingers as he starts barking at orders. Each of you get handed, other than Dom, who already has it, a set of cold clothing.
yes, I'm very bundled up in my
So-
custom cold clothes.
As he kind of hands that, or as it's handed out to each of you to put on, and he looks at you, or the Wolf kind of looks back at you a lot and goes, "All right, so there's one requirement. You're gonna have to meet Utham himself. He should be. Well, if I had to guess, he's either working in the West Wind Clinic or in his throne room. One of the two ways. One way, you're not getting to meet him. The other one, well, anyone can meet him at the clinic, to be fair."
Don't worry, Buff. I'll make sure we get to see him.
Oh, he pats you on the head, Dom. But rather, kind of like roughly, and he goes, "I remember
Is
when
he
you were
taller
still a
than Dom?
tiny lad." Yeah, by a good bit.
Ah, damn. Yeah, do you see
Ned,
Dom?
Ned has never had to put on pants before. You all see him trying to put his head through one of the leg holes.
No. It's not like that. It's like this. You one leg in.
Well, what about the third one?
Ooh.
No.
Huh?
You know what? That one nestles. You gently leave it in the center.
It is like putting eggs in a bird nest, Ned.
Bolf looks
You want
over
them secure.
Bolf looks over at Uldren and goes, "Oh, that is very fire giant of you."
What is that supposed to mean?
And he just kind of shakes his head, and you hear a couple of the other frost giants chuckling at that.
Am I missing something?
Bolf just continues to laugh. A few moments
Well-
as Uldren stares at the Bolf, and Bolf finally stops laughing, and he looks at him and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know your compatriot's been hit on the head too many times. I meant it means your dick is small," as he kind of spells it out, and he holds out a tiny dagger to emphasize.
Mine is not small.
It's average!
I might be short, but I'm not down there.
Bolf just
I have
kind
some
of...
friends that would appreciate that dagger, and I just hold up the collection bucket.
You're gross.
It's gonna do this every time.
You gotta arm the grove.
Bolf looks at you and goes, "I don't donate. I got nothing to donate to no grove. I'm sorry, youngin. You're gonna get paid through the guild like everyone else."
Well,
Okay.
unless the rest of you have, we should probably head out to meet with Reagan Utham.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well then, that's not to keep him waiting.
Ned kind of
That's not to.
finally gets the pants on, except for it doesn't manage to tie up the top as they kind of keep slightly falling down. He keeps having to pull them back up as you're walking.
Get this man a belt,
The-
please.
The butt flap falls open.
Yeah. Didn't realize there were buttons back
plumber
there.
going.
Yeah.
I assume Domnander will be leading, yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna head towards the clinic or are you gonna head towards the castle?
The clinic.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably the clinic is the best thing to visit first.
Okay. As you head back into the city, kind of heading closer and closer to where what would be, as you start to notice the lower end district, some of the frost giants walking around here look to be dressed more in like very basic commoners' clothing. Many of them kind of dirty from the mines. Not to say they're poor looking, but just definitely not as well off as the ones you had met closer to the heart of the city and in the upper districts. As you continue to walk through or down the road, you eventually come across a pretty large, almost carved into the mountain directly rather than its own setup. This clinic that has been created. You start to hear as you get closer the sounds of screams, crying children, the sounds of panicking people crying and everything as people are running in and out. Some people coming in without much of an issue or any complaints. Some coming out looking like they've just lost a loved one or maybe someone else more dear to them. As you get closer, at the entrance, you see a very old-looking fire giant woman, kind of sitting in a rocking chair, rocking back and forth. Dom, you recognize this as Magra the All-Seeing. As you all
Would
kind of yes, go ahead.
Oh, I just had a question if there would be a specific title of respect she'd be given or no.
No. You would know
Okay.
that she's a almost as good of a healing woman as Utham himself, but due to her extreme age, and the fact that she's blind in both eyes, she has been taken away from being able to work on healing people as she last time tried to had a small debacle of sewing an arm onto the rear end of a frost giant instead of back in the socket.
Good times.
It was at that point she finally did accept that she was being forced into retirement by the others, though she did not choose to be. But yeah, as she kind of sits here looking at you, looking at you, looking in your general direction as you come walking up, and you suddenly see she kind of turns and she goes, "Is that you?"
Indeed it is, Magra. Looking as youthful as ever. Offers a smile.
Dumb you, stupid little runt. I've missed you. Utham's in the back. He's having a good old time back there. I think he's working on some kid or I don't know. He's still yelling at me to get some new eyes. You hear, he still says, "If I put new eyes and I'll be good as new." But, then he says I won't be allowed to work with the sharp objects anymore because of the last time, and it's just not fair.
I will voice your complaints to him, rest assured. Do you think he's available to meet with the adventurers? And she can't see, but I'm sure she can ascertain he's nodding in the direction of his compatriots.
No, she doesn't seem to react, and she goes, "Oh, give me a minute," and you see suddenly as she turns and she just shouts and bellows loud enough for the entire city to hear as it just echoes through the hallways. The entire clinic goes dead silent. Almost all the cries of bloody murder and scare and fear seems to silent as you start to hear someone walking and coming from the back.
Dom will just kind of stand at attention and wait next to Magra.
All right. As you do, a few moments go by, and out comes a very large figure. If you'd like to describe yourself.
Of course, I have an image and a description. First things first, frost giants are the tallest of giants, from my understanding. So Utham comes out at 24 feet tall. He has a large scythe on his back, a book at his side. His clothing doesn't seem super expensive. It's more just leather and the fur of the creatures raised here, which I guess since earlier you haven't seen them, they would be winter manes.
I have a tooth for one.
Yep.
Arctic
You have
Mane? Well, I thought it was Arctic Mane.
Arctic Mane is correct. Yes. No, don't worry about it too much. Yeah. Yeah, it is an Arctic Mane, is what he was referring to. Yeah, you're good.
With some much larger teeth seeming to tie together the belt, like the waist area. Other than some medical supplies on his side and some little bits of blood in his gloves, he walks up to all of you.
You see Magra started to snore in her rocking chair as you've come out. Go ahead. Sorry, Dom.
I don't know the specific greeting for the frost giants, but whatever would be the proper salute, bow, showing respect to a ruler Dom would do when Utham approaches.
In most of the giant cultures, a respect thing is by leadership and capability, not necessarily a showing of fancy acts. So bowing and such wouldn't be as customary, but respecting their title and talking to them as if they are above you would be expected because of the position they hold.
Okay, so it's more vocal than physical.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure.
But yeah, as you greet Utham as he comes forward, Utham, you can tell Magra's not asleep. She's fully doing this just to be an irritation as this group of adventurers now stands in front of you, only recognizing Dom, of course, and some of them kind of roughly from when Hagnin had mentioned some adventurers coming into town.
I'm leaned over the sleeping Magra, like waving my hand in her face.
Yeah, I'll let Magra have her fun. Dom, is there something I can help you with?
Vegan Utham. I was just here to lead the adventurers to you so they may speak with you. As you know, I'm being their local guide for the moment. Any kind of gestures around the frosty city?
Yes, not the best place for most races. Hard to navigate in all the cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I've
nice.
lost my fair few times in the past.
It's nice to meet all of you. I'm Utham. I'm the king of these lands, although I spend more of my time here in the hospital than in a throne room. I'd spend all my time here if I could. And he'll kind of hold out a hand to whoever will take it.
Yeah, I'll
Nice
go
to meet
first.
you, pal. And I just
Okay,
aggressive.
he can go first.
As you watch,
All right,
Kesdenok
yeah.
gently goes to put his hand out, and Ned just goes up front like golden retriever energy,
No social
shakes
cues.
his hand. Yeah. Kesdenok, you get the sense he didn't mean it, but you definitely can see the little irritation of Utham on Kesdenok's eyes as he looks over, I imagine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine.
I'll take Kesdenok's hand right after.
Yeah. Hi. King Utham, I'm Kesnanok. I'm a cleric of Ella Ugbo.
We don't get many of your kinds here. We have clerics, but I prefer traditional healing more often.
Oh, worry not. I'm in both fields of healing and in terms of afterlife.
And while I don't truly care, some of the others may. For giant kings, for the most part, it's Regan instead of king.
My
just a
apologies.
little different title. I don't truly care, but the others may be less kind, if you call them by the title.
Dom's like nodding along.
Who's Reagan? I don't think I've met them yet.
That's not the president of the United States, that's for sure.
Donald Reagan? You haven't heard of him?
Oh, great, he's back.
Oh no.
I'm sure you will with time, young man. Anyway, what are you all here for?
Oh, shall we let our final member introduce himself to you, Regan Utham?
I hold out my hand to take yours. The name is Aldrin. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure. Less muscular, but still built well enough.
Yes, unfortunately, I happen to inherit some unique genes from my father.
I suppose that's fair. We get all types. All right.
To the matter at hand, we picked up one of your quests at the last breath for patrols.
Yes. So you're here to meet
They're
Sharu.
eager to serve. That's
Yes,
the name Dom does.
I still serve.
Yes, so you're here to meet Sharun, yes?
I believe so. The gentleman over at the last breath just said to come find you.
Yes, it's easier for me to explain. If you're ready to go now, I can bring you to your guide if you wish, if there's nothing else you need to do in town. I usually give someone to help get down the mountain. It's not the easiest for most.
Of course. Oh, and might I ask, if there is any spare time, I would like to learn more about non-magical healing in events that I don't have any mana left.
Utham, you would know firstly that Dom would know generally where the way to get down is.
Yeah.
So
No, I know.
if you had to let them do it. And as far as it goes for that answer, you would know for a fact. Actually, I'll just PM it to you real quick.
My thing was Shawrun is most people aren't allowed near Shawrun usually.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the king's familiar, so that's not really.
I want to meet Sharon so bad, please. In and out of character, please. I beg thee. Dom gives you puppy eyes.
Okay.
Sharoon's fanboy.
Yes.
Obviously.
The things I teach are very advanced, but if you want to start with the basics of the healing I teach here, the Challenging Raven does have books, some written by me, most not, on healing and other such things.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Of course. Now.
Go ahead.
No, I was just now I was gonna lead them to fucking Aaron's giant pens.
Oh. Yeah, as you turn to guide the party, you start. All the rest of you kind of start heading back towards the castle itself at the center of the city. About an hour of walking as you go along. Utham, you start kind of all notice it seems to be very popular, as many of the citizens seem to come up and converse with him as you're walking. There's not as much of that position you're used to of a difference in kingship that you've seen in many lands from being kind of isolated from their people. Though you do notice that most of the frost giants seem to give Utham seem to talk to him with an utmost respect, even those of the more grizzled warriors that you see. As you lot are going. You do finally come to the outskirts of the main castle at the center of the city, where a large set of pens have been set up with different creatures and such. You see one of them more off to the side by itself with a young frost giant who seems to be kind of setting some food aside and cleaning up a bedded area. A large straw bed that looks to be about the size of a small carriage is roughly what you'd guess where you could put this or something into. As you look about, you see the trough where its food, whatever this creature's food is, as Utham's kind of coming up and coming to a stop and talking with the stable boy. The trough itself is about what you'd expect for a team of horses, not a single creature. As the stable boy kind of just nods and goes and starts ringing a bell as Utham turns back to the lot of you. And Utham, would you like to explain what they see coming towards them?
Of course. So first of all, it's bigger than Utham, which isn't many things in this nation. I do have an image, but first, Sharoon is 64 feet long. She is size colossal. So you see this giant hulking beast of a boar come out of the pen.
Huh.
This is Sharoon.
Dom,
She's my familiar. She'll be leading you.
Eagerly approaching the giant boar without fear. Whatever the fence gate is, just putting his hands up to greet her.
Yeah, you watch as this pen, you realize for a moment, Ned, Kesnok, and Uldren is not meant for this creature. This creature is way too big for this pen. Whatever's normally stationed in here probably was moved. As the hog towers over the slight fencing that they put around, a wood fencing that put around the enclosure, easily towering over most of it as it kind of snorts down and the hot air kind of blows onto you all, causing a slight strange draft as well as that weird smell of curdled milk to come back, Uldren.
The best kind on a cold day.
Aldrin, don't be rude.
Sorry.
Andrew, you big girl, have you been giving the stable hands trouble?
You do see there is a hand that it kind of sucks up into its mouth as you make that comment.
Yeah, Dom's just sighs in a very amused way. Just shakes his head a little bit at her.
Now, Despite what most would expect from a boar or another animal, Sharun's smarter than most people, and she's a fully trained barbarian. So, you should be in good hooves, I suppose.
Oh, she's definitely smart. She's beat me at cards before. Mind you, I was young, but
I'm gonna get Sharun out of the pen, because I imagine Sharun knows where to go to do that.
As you give a signal, she climbs over the pen with very little difficulty, as the actual pen doors are about the size of her hoof. So again, not the pen for her, just an area where she was being stored at the time. She starts marching through the city, almost over buildings, not even phased. As you watch, she walks off by herself, and most of the frost giants on the streets that see her coming seem to almost give a wide berth, letting her through. She steps gently and seems to avoid anything of danger or of actually note, leaving a couple of dents in the ground, but given the size of the creature, that's to be expected.
That can be.
As you watch, she kind of heads out towards a side entrance of the mountain that is very wide and looks to have slightly burn marks around the edges of it, as her fur kind of like roughly hits the edges of the opening, and you see little sizzle marks as she heads outside.
So we just follow. Yeah?
You follow her. If the going gets tough, you can ride in her back. Yes.
All right. I guess we'll just roll out then.
if I had known we'd had Sharun accompany us, I'd have told Boloff to save on the hassle for cold clothes, as he's like watching the ice melt at a distance.
Boar with a literal mane of fire.
Yeah, like the 60-foot boar heater, for sure.
Reminds me of home.
You'll still.
That is.
You know where I'm from, they always say hooves don't decide who you are.
What?
Well, he said just because the hooves don't mean that they're not smart.
I agree, Ned. Very wise words.
Thank you, Ned.
And like, kill pat Ned's shoulder.
If anything extreme happens, Sharun can notify me.
Of course.
Now, please, stay safe. As Utham will start walking back towards the clinic.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Off
you
to
heard the
patrol.
Reagan?
You would know well enough that Sharun's smart enough as a creature. She would wait if you all decide you want to do some shopping around town or check anything out. As far as
I have no money.
She's not gonna immediately just take off without y'all, especially because once she's been given orders, she pretty much sticks to it until she's told otherwise.
So I also don't have money, but Dom will like.
I spent all my money on a shield.
Look at the party once Utham's left and go. Sharun is content to wait if anyone needs to prepare, but I am ready to head out whenever you all are.
I
They will
have
kind of gesture
one
towards
silver
Sharun.
piece and one gold piece.
I have
Well.
7 gold pieces. I don't think I could purchase anything of use.
I got
am
2 gold pieces.
Ah, same. Hey. Well,
we got
that will
a
not be the
job
case
to
after
do.
this quest. Let's get
Of
going
course.
then.
Okay. As you all gather as a group, you start heading towards the exit. Utham heads back towards his clinic, and you watch as most of the frost giants seem to again giving you a lot wide berth. Dom doesn't seem, as you all notice, to be very popular like Utham, or at least none of the frost giants seem to react in the same way. As you lot head towards the secondary side exit. Wait.
Love that.
God, Ned, give me let's get a diplomacy check. Let's see how many of these people are gonna remember in a.
I will say,
Ooh,
if
I'm
it helps,
good at these, kinda.
Yeah.
Dom would also be like politely nodding or smiling or greeting people as
I'm good
they
at
pass.
these, but
He's
I
just
rolled
not
like
making a
shit,
big
so I
show.
rolled an 8.
Gotcha.
Can
an
I
8, okay.
assist?
You can if you'd like.
Because I'm also kind of doing damage control as I like greet the crowd. So I don't know what specifically to do, but can I just help?
Yeah, it's just a diplomacy roll, so you'll as far as
Okay.
it goes, if you want to try and add on to it.
I wasn't sure if the help action was a thing. still
It
or
is,
not?
but I have different mentalities on how I usually run that type of stuff.
Yeah. All right. My diplomacy. I rolled really bad, so only a 9. No, only an 11.
Do I need to
11.
do damage control as well?
It's up to you.
Maybe my
uh,
charisma's
uh,
decent. I just rolled bad.
I can roll. Actually, so by the way, how do I? So the +5 to charisma.
Mm-hmm.
How do I add that to my sheet, or do I just add it to whatever I roll?
When
Go
you're
ahead.
when you go to view sheet, it auto adds to your skills.
Yep.
Well, I don't know where to add the +5 to.
What do you?
Well, if you're doing
Just to charisma in general.
No, it's
I'm-
oh, you have a +5 to your charisma overall.
that was the you. That's what the thing you gave me. I just don't know how to apply that.
Oh, you'd add it to your base score. That's what that is.
Okay, cool. So whatever I
Yeah.
roll, I just add that to
No,
it.
you can go in and update your base score to from whatever your charisma is to whatever it is now with the +5.
So I would just bring up the number that it needs to be to get the +5. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
know that.
add the 5 to the base score and then hit save sheet and then it'll update to show you what the new bonuses are.
I see it now.
Yep.
I understand what you were trying to tell me. It just went like.
Nope. Yep. I understand. You're good. Been there. Trust me.
I understand.
It just went right over my head. I was like, okay, a +5 to whatever I roll a charisma thing. Okay, not like an actual +5 to it itself.
Hey,
Cool.
I'd say the bonus to your base score is kind of better. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Straight up.
All right. So
Alright,
are
cool.
you're assisting? So that would also be a diplomacy check if you're gonna do that.
That'd be a 20.
Ned begins to starts waving rapidly. Slightly seems to offend a few a few frost giants at first. Dom noticing this tries to kind of help out, explain, and point this out. Not really being able to get the point across in a way that makes sense. Kesnok finally just kind of with a sigh kind of comes over and then explains in a simple manner and as the frost giants kind of finally come to grasp with it and continue on their way, letting you go
The
by.
mother just going around. It's like he's a little special.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As
Essentially, I'm his handler.
He's green.
as you have this little kind of explanation, you start to get closer to the exit as the wind starts to pick up and you start to feel that slight cold. You see Aldrin kind of pulls out something and puts on a fox-like black mask with some interesting red accents. As the party starts to sees Sharoon standing at the edge of a cliff, staring straight down, and she kind of turns, rumbling the ground around you as you come up towards her.
Does she melt the snow where she walks, so there's just big holes in the snow where her hooves have been?
Only where her fur seems to touch, you see the fire.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So we're not trying to track hazardous terrain right now.
Nope. But you can definitely feel the heat coming off the giant creature as it seems to slightly, almost look like it's slightly shrunken down a little bit, but you're not sure if that's just your imagination as you look at the creature. You all see it stands on the edge of a cliff. As you all walk towards it, looking down over the cliff, you see nothing but clouds. You're high up. You have no idea what's underneath, and the boar just seems to look at you expectantly.
At the party or at someone in particular?
No, at the party.
Cool. Well, any last minute stops before we go?
I assume not. Do we climb on back and we'll be off?
Mm-hmm. I imagine you could.
Where are we going?
We're patrolling. I imagine we would just be
down
going around
there?
the perimeter.
Point down at the clouds.
There's ground below it.
Really?
If you say so.
I do. And Dom will approach Sharon as he says this.
The boar lowers itself slightly.
Yeah, I'm gonna hesitantly climb on.
Perhaps along the way you all could tell me more about yourself. It's not often we get traveler giants or half fire giants, as he like is climbing on, clearly having done this before.
Yeah. As you climb on, Ned climbs on after you. Uldrin and Kesnanok, are you gonna climb onto the boar or?
I'll climb onto the boar.
Okay, Uldrin.
I'll climb on also.
All right, with your mask on, you climb on right behind Kesnanok. As all of you grasp onto the creature, Dom yells to hold on as you watch the creature kind of like backs up back towards the entrance a little bit. As you start to get close and start realizing this creature might be backing up back into the city, she kind of like, and you start to feel the rocks getting closer to you and the fire from the fur starting to burn around the caves and starting to slightly burn onto your guys' bodies, giving a slight singeing. She suddenly starts charging forward towards the cliff as fast as she can. As you all watch, suddenly as you get to the edge, she jumps and you start falling. Expecting for a moment wings to plummet out. Dom, you don't know what's going on. This creature normally would be able to jump out this and has no issues. You're free falling as Sharoon is squealing and screaming.
But Sharoon, what is the issue?
The hog is still screaming. The rest of you are just dropping out of the sky right now on top of this boar, holding on to it for dear life.
Shit. I don't know. This is definitely
I've
not
never
normal.
shit my pants before.
If anyone has magic, now's the time to use it. If not, tie ropes to yourselves and hang on. I'll
Can I
grip on the
attempt
Sharon tighter.
Okay.
to calm?
You gonna try and calm the animal? Okay, yeah. So that's gonna be a knowledge nature check or a survival check. And how are you calming this creature?
I was thinking about, maybe doing like a little sing a little song, like a little lullaby. It's like, calm down, Spirit. You're a cool boy, something like that,
Okay.
Can
okay.
I also attempt to calm the creature?
You seeing Kesnok doing this? You want to try and help? Well, let's see what Kesnok gets
No.
for his roll real quick.
Well, I'm going to
because,
knowledge nature and
Because
try
unfortunately,
to
I don't have
pickpocket.
nature as one of my knowledge bases.
Oh, I do.
anyways.
What you want? Do you want Ned to try?
I mean, I could do survival, but
I
I
I'll
would say
let Ned
handle
do his
handle
thing.
animal is its own check.
Is it handle?
Yeah,
Is handle
sure.
animals? Oh, it is. Okay, my apologies.
Yeah,
I
handle
missed it.
animal is its own check.
Okay, cool. Because I
I will
Charisma
roll
alright.
that.
check.
Yes, I will let handle animal. Apologies, I didn't see that was on there. So if Kesnanok and Ned both want to, or if you have knowledge nature, you can roll
Go
to
for
see
it,
if you
Ned.
figure it. Ned,
Let's
Um,
see what you can do first.
As I say, I mean, I can do either. I also have the wild empathy, so I can improve the attitude of a animal.
yeah, it's up to you if you want to use a Oh, you.
But
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll do the knowledge nature.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it and see what you get.
That's a nat 20 plus 7, so 27.
The boar's fucking with you. It has wings. You can tell. You can see the wings on the side of this boar. It's purposely holding its wings in, and you can hear it chuckling.
I shit perfectly good pants.
As you hear Ned say this, the wings suddenly expand and the boar starts gliding, and you hear if a pig could laugh, there's a weird, strange roar of laughter as it glides down towards the land.
Sharon, not again. As like Dom just sighs and sort of face palms a bit. Clearly, maybe this time the pig has gotten one up on him.
As you saying this, you hear more roaring from the from Sharoon from the boar as you land. Sharoon comes down onto the ground. The winter wind hitting you all now, really feeling the cold, as it seems to be even colder down here with the breeze. Snow smacking you all in the face as hard as you can. Uldrin, due to your mask, of course, doesn't hit your face. You are perfectly fine. The rest of you are now going to be working with half of your usual vision as the snow is continuously smacking into you and it's almost whiteout conditions around you. Sharoon slightly seems to almost give off a slight glow as the boar lands onto the ground and you slowly start to climb off of her. But you all, as you look around, see a wintry landscape of nothing but snow, and more snow as there's not much distinguishable down on the bottom of the ground at the base of the mountains.
Do we know exactly where we're supposed to be going?
I assume we just follow our guide.
It's a patrol. We go around the perimeter. We make sure everything's
We
safe.
patrol.
We deal with problems that need dealt with. If you have a place in mind you want to go go there, but mostly we wander. As Dom's like putting a hand up to kind of like block the snow a little bit from like just flying into his eyeballs.
Yeah, as you put your hand up, trying to keep the snow, it does not help.
Yeah, but you know, the effort's there.
Uh-huh. The
Actually,
cold...
can I can't. Can Dom attempt to make a spot check as he's talking about like, oh, if there's threats in the area, we'll deal with them, to see if there's anything he can sense through the snow?
You...
Or should I make a listen check?
Yeah,
'Cause my vision's
that'd be a
obscured.
listen, because your vision is screwed.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I wasn't sure if it not. That'll be a 19 total.
As you start to listen, the blizzard is bellowing out. You hear your party kind of somewhat shivering a little bit, teeth rattling a little bit, even with the cold weather clothing. I mean, it's still weather they're not most of them are not accustomed to. You do start to hear slight giggling coming from somewhere around you. You're not sure where, due to the how the wind is howling so hard and loud. But you're pretty sure you hear it laughing around you. And Sharoon seems to be, as you look over, as all of you can kind of notice, seems to be almost staring over at something to the east.
Well,
Can I
that's
look
us.
that direction?
We have company.
Yeah. Give me a spot check.
Cool.
Ned?
That is a 19.
You look over.
Hey!
The snowstorm is thick. It's, as you look through, you see nothing. There doesn't seem to be shadows. There doesn't seem to be anything there. Sharoon's not looking at something close by. If it's looking at something, it's looking at something at a distance, is what you gather.
Does the party react at all to Dom's comment?
Well, for me, I guess I'll, ready up, shield out, mace out, just preparing.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I'm ready.
So as Dom sees you pulling out the shield, and I'm sure can ascertain you're the tankiest person in the group, he kind of like through the snow gestures like, "Do you want to take the lead on this?"
I can't see for shit. All right. I just recommend
I
we all
can't either.
stand by Sharoon here.
As you
Just
say
be
this,
ready.
Sharoon takes off at a dead sprint, charging forward.
Well,
Okay.
here we go.
As I say, yeah, Dom will chase after. She
Yep.
knows what she's doing.
You all start following. Aldrin, I assume you are as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow.
Okay. You all follow after this bright light in the snowstorm. The creature seems to be going at almost a light pace after the initial takeoff, allowing for you lot to just stay within close enough range to see its glowing hide. It just starts running. Minutes go by. 10 minutes. A half an hour. The creature just keeps going. Doesn't seem to stop as it continues charging forward.
Does the sound of laughter seem to grow as we continue on?
Roll me another listen check, see if you can hear it still.
All right. I guess I'm sure with how fast we're running, the wind might be an issue, but that is an 18 this time.
Okay. Give me a second. You start to listen, and you don't hear anything other than the crunching of footsteps from your compatriots. The sounds of laughter seems to have dissipated. But you do start to
Not
notice
laughing
something.
now that a boar's coming for him.
You do notice something kind of strange as you're listening. It's almost as if the snowstorm around you is dying down.
Hmm. Like, does it seem? I don't know if Dom would have enough experience per se to know, but does it seem like unnaturally dying down, or like a natural, like the blizzard's coming to an end?
It just sounds like the snow, like the snow being bellowed, the winds and such are starting to kind of mellow out more than what you were hearing earlier. As you get further
Okay.
and further east, yeah. A few more moments go by. This boar is continuing to charge until finally, after almost an hour of just running continuously to try and keep up with it, the creature comes to a stop as you suddenly hear a screech. And then suddenly, as all of you can go ahead and roll initiative, a small goblin with a knife comes rushing out, screaming with blood all over its body.
20.
Stab the boar, my man.
13.
Just good advice.
Alright.
Where on my sheet is my initiative bonus?
23.
It should be in your stats area, like your HP, your AC. It's in that area.
Aldrin
Yeah. I
was
see it now. It was at the bottom.
20. Ned, you said 18?
13.
13, got you. And then for Dom,
Only a 12. I rolled mediocre.
And well, oh no, I've got Grumpy's curse. Okay.
The goblin rolled a 5.
want me to
No,
roll
I rolled a nat 1. Yeah, if you want to roll for Sharoon.
Yo, nice roll, Caleb.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is, yeah.
Let me know what it is.
If only
19.
I had rolled that one.
Damn.
Boar
Alright.
fast.
Yeah.
More fast. Goblin
Aldrin,
slow.
as you turn, you see this tiny goblinoid. He seems to have a small, rusted-looking knife. He's wearing really rough leather clothing, no cold clothing on him. Small little, like, short bow on his back as he kind of comes running up to you. It's slightly covered in blood as he's charging towards you. He's about 10 feet from you, currently. Well, you and the
Alright.
party as a whole.
He's giving us a hug.
I don't think so.
He just wants hugs. He's so cold.
And it's only one goblin, correct?
Yeah, you only see one goblin, yeah.
Okay. I would like to see if there's actually more goblins nearby.
Okay. Give me a search check, since you're looking for something specific.
11.
An 11? You look about. The snow is still kind of heavy, but you see no other shadows, no other figures. You do see Sharoon is pulling and tearing at something, but you're not sure what.
Alright. Then I will approach the goblin.
Okay. You move up
Hey.
another 5 feet. The goblin looks wary at you with its knife in hand.
I attack.
All right.
Let's
see what you got.
Yeah, same.
I was like, we're going the peaceful route, guys. The cycle of violence ends now.
I was about to say, well, uh-oh.
It'll be your
Uh-oh.
D20 plus your base attack for reference, Aldrin, in case you're not familiar.
Yeah.
And everyone's base attack bonus
And,
is what, 1, right? Is that what it
And
is?
plus the stat you attack with.
Correct.
Yeah, everyone's base attack bonus is +1, guys.
I
yeah,
think
level
mine's
one.
actually a 0.
yeah,
Some
it's-
classes-
Mine's 0.
Some
Yeah.
classes won't get increases to it or as high of increases to it, but you do have for whatever your attacking stat is. So I believe for most
Yeah.
classes it's strength, but double check.
It's
that.
it's strength unless you have the weapon finesse feat for melee weapons.
So your base attack bonus would be basically that plus your strength bonus.
So
assumedly.
then it's a
Oh.
14.
Mhm.
Okay, +1 is strength.
14 to hit. You watch as the creature parries away your weapon to the side and kind of like giggles, but you can see the sweat on its face. This thing looks panicky.
Seems. I'll I mean, that would be the end of my turn, but I'll tell the party that it seems scared.
I could have told you that.
Well, I thought I should let you know.
As you say this out loud, you turn and you look to the rest of the party for a moment. You did move. You had your action. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Uldren? I don't believe there should be, but just in case.
No, I did move. I had to move 5 feet.
Okay. All right. Oh, wait, say that again. Sorry.
I said I did. You said that we were 10 feet away. I had
Yeah,
to move.
you move up 5 feet. Yeah, I was just making sure if there's anything else you want to do. Yeah.
As far as I can tell, I only have one action.
Yes, that's correct currently. Okay. Unless your class specifically has an immediate action or any of the other action classes, which you'll know about that when you get to that point. Okay, no worries. As Uldren slashes at this creature, the dagger paring it away, the creature seems somewhat panicked. Kesnanoch, you to jump to the attack. You are up. What would you like to do? You are currently about 10 feet from the creature, with Uldren now having moved about 5 feet up off to your left. Like, say your left, I'd say. You know.
All right, and so, the goblin is very like panicked right now. It's scared the fuck out of its mind, pretty much.
Yes. That's what you can tell from as you look it up and down from the immediate reaction of the creature.
Gotcha. Okay. I'd like to swing at it, but non-lethally.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
17 to hit.
That hits. Go ahead and roll your damage. See if you can knock it out.
6.
You smack into the creature with your mace, trying to hit it up like in the back, trying to just knock it unconscious. And as you do so, no damage you can see really done, other than what would probably be some swelling and bruising later. As you smack into the creature, it seems to like grin at you and turn towards you. Its eyes going from like this greenish color to a red as it starts to like hyperventilate and starts like foaming at the mouth on each side.
God, it's got rabies.
Is there anything else you'd like to do, Kesnok?
No, because I would have had to move up to do that. So
Correct.
we are, that's it. That's
All
my one attack. Hey, but I hit though. That's
You
crazy.
did. Yeah, as you felt the contact. The creature's now looking at you now, though, with a foam in its mouth, ready to go. Sharoon, as you look, or Sharoon kind of looks down, tearing at a creature. Sharoon has pinned what looks to be a young gloom assassin underneath its foot and its hoof, and it seems to be like trying to bite at it to tear things off of the creature.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not dealing with that.
Do you want to roll it, or for since you have it stat sheet, Justin?
Yeah.
Okay, you've got it pinned, so I'm gonna say that's I'm gonna give you a +4 to your attack. By the way, so for the new players, well, to explain that means that 3.5 doesn't have advantages. I just give you numbers to add on top of what your base bonus already is. So,
Okay.
just to kind of keep that in mind going forward when you ask for questions like that. Yeah, 22 hits. You can roll again. I don't know if that's both of them, but yeah, 22 hits.
No, that's one of the 2 attacks.
I mean, if you want to try and crit fish, you can.
Well, I'm just gonna do the damage for the first.
Okay.
You're not gonna be a fan of this. Let me make sure I get the plus right. That's a +12.
Okay. Yeah, you Sharoon bites down onto the creature, starts tearing at it. You all hear screeches coming from a little bit ahead of you, not being able to see any of this. The poor Gloom's arm gets torn clean off, blood splattering all across the thing as Sharoon now has its hand in its mouth, or its arm in its mouth. Does Sharoon get 1 or 2 actions per round?
Is 2.
Two,
Her
okay.
base enough.
If you would like to attack again, or is there anything else you'd like to do to it?
Seeing that it lived 1 hit, Sharon's gonna start raging.
Okay.
So Sharon starts frothing at the mouth.
You see the boar's what was before just more like the fur casually touching something and sparking up. Now you see as the fur on this creature completely lights up like a giant fireball, and you can start to feel the intensity of the heat as the snow around you starts to melt. And while the storm winds don't stop from the blizzard, the snow itself seems to almost turn into a light rain as it smacks into you instead now, being a lot more pleasant than the snow from earlier due to the intense heat coming off of Sharoon. 26 hits. Again, you can crit fish if you'd like, or you can roll damage.
Yeah, let's roll the damage. It's plus 14 now because of the rage. Nah, a little lower damage.
Sharoon bites down onto the creature once again, tearing at it, but the creature screeches out and still manages to stay alive.
That's probably why I rolled 4d6 instead of 6. 3.
Still managing to, as Sharoon smacks into it once more, the creature seems to kind of stay, still seeming to scream out loudly as it shrieks in pain, but seems to still be alive.
Yep, that's Sharon's turn.
Alright. Ned, you are up. You're at 10 feet in front. 10 feet in front of you is a semi-damaged goblin that is now frothing and has bright red eyes.
So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my level 1 spell and cast Shillelagh on my club.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And since I'm not moving, that's an action. I'm now going to swing my club at the frothy goblin.
Do you have 10 feet of range?
It's range
Okay.
10 feet.
Okay, well, to make sure. Yeah, then go ahead and take your swing.
19.
19 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Gross. 2.
As you slam into walking, or not even moving, just as you see Keznok moved up forward, kind of using him as like a semi-shield in front of you, you kind of wind up with this with your staff, or with your club, and slam right into the goblin, smacking across the head. The foam gang has spattered off onto the snow, burning the snow on the ground, making it slightly melt. The goblin seeing a little bit of blood kind of dripping down its side, the side of its lip. The skin of this creature now starting to turn red, and it starts staring at you, Ned.
Hello there. That's my turn.
You're like the Flanders of the fucking. All right.
I release my time.
Yeah. All right. As you finish up your turn, Dom, you are up.
Yes. So the goblin is goblining. There's a ghoul under Sharoon. I'm not sure the full action. Would I have to take an action to see if there are other creatures we haven't noticed yet?
So I allow one check per round for players typically.
Okay.
That I'll let you do for free if you want to use it.
Yeah,
however,
I'd like to do a spot check because.
Yeah, I just want to make a note
go
of
ahead.
this. If anybody gives a help action, that will count as your check for your next turn. So keep that in mind. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, because Dom wants assessing the threat correctly.
Okay. Are you looking
that'll
for?
be 19.
Are you? Well, I was gonna say, are you looking for specific enemies, or are you just looking to see if there's anyone else out
No,
there?
it is just a general, like, my eyes are scanning around. I'm looking for any signs of any enemies, gloom, assassin, goblins, etc.
Okay. I'm gonna say, as far as it goes, since you're searching, yeah, let's go to the search check for it.
Oh, okay. Then instead of 19, it will be a. I think that's only a 13 now.
13. As you start to look about, the weather having cleared, the rain just being slightly annoying now due to the heat around you.
14.
14. You look about, and you notice there's no other people specifically that you catch, but you do start to look or notice that there is a group of dead frost giant bodies not about 30 feet, probably in front of where Sharoon is currently standing on top of something. Because of course you can't see what Sharoon's standing on at this point.
Yeah. So clearly people have died here. I assume we can also still speak as free actions.
Correct.
Then Dom will say, "There are dead giants. I think there are more enemies here. Be on alert." And I will use my movement to approach our goblin friend.
Okay.
Am I able to
Yeah.
flank with one of my pals?
What's your movement is 30?
My movement. Let me double check. I believe it's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily,
30 walking.
yeah. You can circle around and get behind, so that way you can see now Aldrin and Kesnanok on the opposite side, kind of like bearing down on this creature, while Ned's still kind of slightly off behind Kesnanok, winding up his club again.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'll want to flank to attack, and then remind me what the 3.5 flank does again. Is it still just a straight advantage, or is it like a?
It's a plus.
to
It's
the
a
roll?
plus 2, I believe, to the roll.
It's a +2, yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Since you have
okay.
2 compatriots, I'll give you a +4 for this because you have 2 people there.
Oh shit!
I think that's fair. in
Now
this
do I
situation.
flurry of blows then? Because that would cancel out my negative modifier for that. I think I will. Let me double check the wording to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. But I believe it just means I get 2 attacks with the penalty.
So yeah,
canceled out by the bonus.
Both attacks have the -2, but you get a second attack, so you get to throw 2 punches instead of the 1 you normally get.
Yeah, I'll throw it because it evens out to a +2 bonus. Let's fucking go. Okay, Dom flanks with the goblin, and then everyone sees, completely unarmed, this lean, light man just throws an absolute quick sucker punch at this goblin's face.
Yeah.
The first will be a 19. That's the
19
favorite
hits.
number this session.
Yep.
Okay,
Fucking...
I'll roll damage.
Not again. I
This
don't
is
need
just
all natural 19s
good old
for an entire
bludgeoning.
session.
So that will be, I have to check what my bonus to damage.
Oh, I should ask, is Dom doing this lethally or non-lethally?
Oh.
Are you trying to kill the goblin or knock it out?
I was gonna say, the goblin's foaming at the mouth, right? I assume that's, like, not normal?
You don't know you haven't really seen goblins before, so you wouldn't know if this is normal.
Dom will aim non-lethal because there's a bunch of dead giants, and I think Dom would value information.
Okay.
I'm taking blows at the head to intentionally, like, knock this goblin the fuck out. My damage will be 5 for the first attack.
Okay.
Not that much.
Yeah, you slam
Second attack
into the creature. Go ahead.
Second sucker punch. That's a 15 to hit.
15 does barely hit.
The goblin tries to dodge, but I've punched him in the head and he's disoriented. And that'll be, damn 3 bludgeoning.
Yeah, as you punch into him, I was just doing the math, make sure I'm correct here. You slam into him a few times in the back, and you watch as the creature drops to the ground unconscious. A couple of blows to the back of the head. Its skin goes back to green, its eyes go back to the greenish color, and it just goes completely unconscious.
So yeah, you guys would see, it doesn't, but Dom's punches are insanely fast, and just with precision, 1-2, goblin is out, and Dom is just standing ready in case other enemies arrive. And I believe that's all I could do on my turn, unless just a question. Mobility, is that a bonus action, or is that just that's an action, right? To use the mobility feat, or is that just a thing I get?
If you take a look at it, it should specifically say what it does, as far as goes. I don't recall off the top of my head if it's action movement or not.
I know it doesn't mention any, like, action, bonus action, anything like that, so I think it's just a basic feature, but I wasn't sure.
There's your answer.
Okay. Oh, no, that was to cook. Okay, yeah, then never mind. That's not something I need to activate. That's just a passive thing. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, so as you kind of start to look around, you watch as the gloom is up. They are going to bite you. Well, none of you can see this, but Sharoon, as it looks down, notices that the creature seems to bite down on something strange, and then immediately stops moving as combat comes to an end.
Chloroform. All right.
Our
Chloroform?
information.
No, very different. No, chloroform's not.
Cyanide pill.
Cyanide.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't mix those two
fine.
up. It's very. That'd be very.
Alright,
Very
big
lethal.
mistake.
That's a lethal difference.
I give my enemies chloroform and my my partner
Allies.
cyanide.
I'm sorry.
Cyanide.
I'm just imagining Hunter going to knock someone out and he throws cyanide in their mouth. It's like, okay, knock him out, he falls over
Not
dead.
again.
Oh, shit, I needed you alive. That was my hostage.
Shit. All right.
Yes.
By the way, when you were talking about the frost giant, so is it like dead bodies, or is it kind of like up in the air? You know, they're just lying out there. Or is there like a bunch of blood?
Yeah, so what Dom, I believe, specifically saw was that there were bodies on the ground, but due to the storm and the winds, it was still too hard from the distance to tell if they were dead or not. From this distance, Dom isn't necessarily a doctor or trained like
Dom, bring me to the
Did
bodies.
Dom did announce dead because that's what he believes. But yeah, if Kez says to bring the bodies, Dom will do so quickly.
Okay.
I will
The
also go
goblin.
towards the bodies.
Okay. You see Shrin kind of calmly lays down and like grabs up the body from underneath its hoof that it was fighting or it was attacking, and seems to you see it put it in its mouth, but and just kind of like sits down and waits for you lot.
She's got her toy. She wants to play fetch.
Oh yeah, totally. Fetch with a dead body. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's her
Does it get
favorite pastime.
the goblin body too?
It does not. It seems to leave that one alone, as it's unconscious currently. The goblin's not dead, for specific. It's just it's completely knocked out.
Yeah, that's why Dom said to secure it, because he knows he didn't feel a killing blow.
How are you going to secure it? Are you tying rope around it? What are you
Oh, I'm leading Kez
who
to the
had- who
bodies.
has-
I told someone else too.
You two can figure. Ned and Aldrin, you guys can figure out how to secure the goblin.
Oh, Ned already walked off towards the body. He wasn't paying any attention.
Aldrin.
Aldrin, you can take care of the body then.
Fine, I'll do what I can.
As you walk over Aldrin to the unconscious goblin, how are you going to secure this creature?
I unfortunately don't have any rope in my.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna take my sack. I'm gonna put him in it, up to his neck. I'm gonna tie it.
Okay.
I'm also going to remove his dagger
Okay.
and any other weapons he may have.
Yeah. Do you want to give me a search check real quick to see what you
Cavity search?
Yeah, let's see
You
what
better find the one keistered.
Yeah, let's see what you find. 16?
Yep, with the 16.
All right.
The goblin
30
goes for
rusted
that-
daggers up his
It's-
asshole.
So you find 3 daggers. I'm gonna create the list so you don't have to keep track of it. A
Thank you.
bow, a short bow.
Guys, we could sell this for even more money.
Yeah, scrap metal.
Yeah.
oh, the TSA
Guys, better than
agent.
nothing.
Right.
You got like 1 silver piece.
And a gold piece.
Don't make me. I'll make him.
Oh, my bad.
Granted, I had to spend money to
Alright.
get some current gear that I'm wielding.
I don't remember how much I actually have. I need to double check.
Um,
I
Just
I
the
thought you said
one
you had
gold
2 gold
piece.
pieces. Oh, you have just the 1 gold piece?
No, I spent some for the rope and something else.
I have Hero Forge open. Don't make me. I will make Aldrin look
Well,
like
it's
a
funny.
TFA.
He has 50 feet of rope on him. So yeah, you find 3 daggers, a short bow, no arrows, a set of ruined small leather armor that he's wearing, about 1.5 pounds of liquid diamond in a vial on him,
Oh.
a burnt empty
Ooh.
spell scroll that is just slightly singed on the edge, and then 50 foot of rope that looks to be brand new.
I'll tie him.
Just
with it.
as a
Need to know
question, being as I grew up with, wandering the fire giant kingdoms and working as a craftsman of jewelry and such, what can be done with liquid diamonds?
So liquid
Or what's
diamonds,
the purpose of it?
For the most part, are first off, for about an ounce of it, it goes for supposedly 10,000 platinum pieces. That's for an ounce, not 1.5 pounds. It's known to be extremely hard, yet when it's heated up, it flows like a liquid. So it acts like a diamond that's very manipulatable. However, the material is not able to be sharpened, so that's kind of the main issue, and it doesn't seem to play well with any other materials.
It's probably more for armor than weapons.
It's extremely rare. It's also known to only be found at the heart of volcanoes.
Why does the goblin have this?
This might have been found in my homeland.
I will hog tie the goblin with his own rope.
Hog tie it.
Go ahead and give me a use
Hrimpursar
rope to see how well you do.
I love how that's a check. I got
Yes.
a 9.
9? Alright. Yeah, you tie the goblin up. You're not used to tying knots. Well, at least not on goblins. This is the first time you've seen a goblin. It's kind of freaking you out that you're seeing a tiny green creature that's like was foaming at the mouth earlier, and you can't help but like try and avoid accidentally cutting yourself, thinking this thing might be diseased or worse.
I do not go near its mouth.
Yeah. As you kind of got that sack cover on it, now tying its hands with the rope, it seems to kind of hold. It doesn't seem to do anything.
I will then pick up the sack and join the rest of the party.
Okay.
I am holding the sack out, not to me.
Okay.
Is the
'cause this
sack
thing
The sack is where its head is
over the
inside.
goblin's head? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's basically grabbed it by the hairs, the tiny hairs
Yep.
it has on its head, and it's pulling it with the sack.
This thing is disgusting.
It only weighs like 20 pounds, Aldrin, so it's pretty easy to pick up for you as you walk over. As the rest of you kind of head towards the body, or the group of bodies, you count 7 bodies, and as you look about, kind of a moment goes by, and you recognize for a moment, Aldrin, the frost giant from earlier that wasn't wearing a shirt, and this is most of his crew.
Oh. Oh no.
Was that Olaf or a different one?
That was just a random. He never got.
Because these were at the docks,
Okay.
right? These
Yeah.
are the guys at the docks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the
Okay,
groups.
that's what I thought, but I wanted to double check.
And confirmed dead. Like we checked their pulses, they're gone.
Give me a So I believe there is knowledge medicine. If you have profession medicine, or I would allow, I guess.
I have profession healer.
There's also a straight up heal check.
Yeah, but heal is actually not fun. Okay, so this is a stupid thing in 3.5. Heal is not for telling if someone's dead. Heal is to check apparently to help someone, Chaston. So it's weird. But yeah, if you've got that works for me, Kez.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, 9. I have a +5 to my rolls, and I rolled a 4.
Yeah.
It's freaking.
I don't think I can
awful.
help because I don't have proficiency in medicine. I just have the heal check.
Yeah. Well, medicine itself isn't a thing. But it's a profession medicine or knowledge for.
Yeah, I don't
specifically.
have either of those.
As far as it goes, as you look them over, yeah, they're clearly that they look like they each died. However, as you look them over, Kiznuk, I mean, even with a low roll, you're familiar enough to tell, or you understand a basic understanding of battlefields and fighting enough to know that there should be fucking wounds when a person dies, some sort of wound out. That's if they died to an attack. You look over each of the bodies. There's no signs of a struggle. These guys look like they just fell over and died, though their faces look twisted as if they were attacking something.
Dom, do you know the rites of death, funeral rites of the frost giants?
Royce, I assume I'd be familiar, but
so frost giants, for the most part, bury their dead in their home, their stronghold, or their home.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be however the Lord chooses to do burial. Some cases it might be shoving it into a hole in the mountain that's been decorated. Some cases it might be putting it in the dirt. It's more dependent on the leader individually rather than outright a culturally thing.
that's what I figured. Well, we would need to take them back to the city to ensure they can be prepared and sent off properly. I don't see blood. Can you tell how they died? As Dom's like, I assume down with Kez, I assume like not inspecting like him, but he's taking note that there's no blood, there's no signs of a struggle in the snow, which is a red flag.
Something
You
odd has
can.
happened.
Keznok, if you want to give me a heal check, you can tell what caused the death. If you think it's
Yeah. I actually have a
Oh,
better.
if it's
I actually have.
Take a
I'm
look
better
at it.
for the heal check than I am with the profession healer check. So let's
I was
hope
gonna
this
say,
one. That will be
I
a
have a heal
22.
check.
Okay.
I need help.
Say I can
Never mind.
check
I
a
was gonna
body
offer
too.
help.
What's up, Ned? Sorry.
I can check a body too.
You could. Do you want to also do a
I
heal
think we're
check
all
to
good
see?
at heals.
22 heal check.
22 from Keznok. All right. Anybody else? Ned's
Well, I rolled awful. It was a 14.
14. As you roll between the two of you, Ned, you start to think for a minute, and as you're looking it over, you start to realize that this is a spell of some sort. Some sort of spell has obviously been effect here. Whoever that gloom or whatever that creature was that Sharoon was eating before you guys got to see what it was, must have been some sort of wizard. Kezdanok, as you look a little closer, you do realize they definitely died of some sort of spell. But you're almost 100% sure that as you look closer and see closer to their necks, you see little tiny marks of what looks to be where someone carved a small rune in it with like a purplish colored liquid that you realize is poison. This was you put together. You kind of gather it was probably a double attack. Someone was probably not sure if their poison would kill or their spell wouldn't kill, and they were finishing the job on these people.
All right.
I will also say, Keznok, real quick, because I want to add this, because I feel like you would catch this. You would also know that with this many of the group, 1 to 2 creatures would not probably be able to take on an armed group of raiders this easily. So this is definitely fishy to you, because if they were all going to be killed in this area, that would have taken an extreme speed or lots of people.
A goblin wouldn't be able to do this. I don't know
Definitely
what Sharoon was eaten on. Don't really know what that creature was. But there's a potential of more people, unless whatever Sharoon just finished off is that strong, which who knows.
You mentioned the poison and the runes as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, come here. See this.
Is there a way for Dom to, I'm not exactly sure on the exact check, but to inspect either the poison or the runes to see if like the runes are be something from
Actually,
like
I got a question. It's a rune, right?
Yes.
Because
Excuse me.
I can read runes.
Wait, you can? Gosh.
oh shit.
Well,
Yeah, hold on. Let me find it, because I think that was something that I got. Because, I think one of the spells I picked up was Read Magic.
Oh.
it is. Yeah, I
That'd be
remember because I
nice.
made that spell for you. Okay, well, give me a moment, and if you can read it. Also, let me see.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, you can also do that if you want to roll for that. That would be
Sure.
fine. Well, I was, I didn't think anybody would have this, and now this is gonna give, I know Chaston's getting ready to write this down, so.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Also, so as a note, if for those who don't have Read Magic, spellcrafting, if you have anything in, also does have, or like any skill points in, does also count. You'd be able to use that.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, you don't manage to get anything as you take a look with that,
Okay.
Dome, as you take a closer look, sadly.
I didn't think so. I rolled bad.
Alright.
Poor Robert.
No worries, Robert. Alright, Keznok, you have Read Magic, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so you're casting on yourself because it's a cantrip, I believe.
It is.
Yeah. As you cast it on yourself, using one of your cantrip slots for the day, which I believe are limited, if I'm remembering correctly, in 3.5.
Cantrips are unlimited.
In 3.5? Really? Wow.
No.
Okay.
No, they're not.
You have a limit to how many spells. You have so many
Really?
zero
Yeah,
levels.
because I
Yeah,
can only
even
do
cantrip.
3 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter,
I
you
guess
can
it
only
is
use 3
3 a
cantrips
day.
a day. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah, so you
It
got
might be
so
unlimited at higher levels, but
They're
They're not.
No,
A level
3.5
20
Damn.
cleric,
is-
even a level 20 cleric gets 6 cantrips a day.
Yep.
damn.
That's yep.
All right.
This is hard mode, gentlemen. I did warn you. That's why but it's gonna be more fun. I promise.
Oh, I
You'll
didn't take
enjoy more of the
spells.
freedom that you'll get in this as we go. So yes, Kesnok, as you read, you recognize the rune to be very similar to the clan of Poland, as it is the marking. Basically it's the actual rune reads Clan Poland.
Can you type that in chat, please?
Yes, I can.
Like, I'll put it in my notes, but I
Oh.
want to be able to
Yeah,
be able
there
to
you
have
go.
it spelled
Yeah,
right.
same.
Of course. No, yeah, always feel free to tell me if you want the name of it. It's better you have that than not. So as you lot start inspecting this, Kesnok kind of notices, looking at one of the markings and kind of reads it. I assume when you'd read it out loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like keep it secret from the party mates, and I assume that even like Sharoon would be like, Clan Polon, huh?
You do see the board doesn't seem to react in the slightest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd assume Dom does not recognize that at all.
Well, you can give me a knowledge nobility check, if you happen to have it, or you can just give me a knowledge check in general. I'll take that. If you
I
got
say
that.
I don't have knowledge nobility specifically.
Then
I
you're,
could make a generalized check.
which is just an intelligence check for knowledge.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Only an 8. Nope.
There's you know for a fact it's not a frost giant clan. You're pretty.
Yeah.
It's definitely not giant because of the fact that as you're just thinking for a minute, the basic understanding of that is pretty clear for you. You don't recognize it otherwise, and Utham had never mentioned having any enemies to you other than him and his brother having spats because his brother had an issue with him growing up. Otherwise, the two.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much all you get.
I don't know who Clan Polon is, so this is either a new threat or a very, very old one.
Well, I feel like this is very important to report to.
Yes,
So, Utham.
perhaps we take the bodies and head back now rather than continue
Alright,
onward.
Allow me to do just a quick prayer for these souls.
Of course.
As you do, go ahead and roll me a d20. And what are you saying, during the prayer?
Dear Mother Ella Ugbo, may you watch over these souls and guide them to where they need to be.
Okay. Roll me a d20, please.
Of course. Let me get there. Okay, there we go. Natural 20.
All right. If you could add it when you get some free time, a skill check at the very bottom of your list. Call it Divinity and add a +2 to it. I don't care which
Ooh.
modifier you choose. It's just if I ever ask you to roll, it'd be like it'd only be for the +2 instead of whatever you said it as.
Yeah, so you don't really... Should I just put it to wisdom?
Sure, that works. It doesn't really matter because we'll just note that when you roll, unless I've changed the modifier, I'll tell you at that point. Thank you.
Great.
And I'll explain that to you after game. Don't worry.
Of course.
Before...
Yes.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I would say real quick, before the party potentially loads the bodies onto Sharoon and heads out, can I do a final spot search check, whatever, to see if there are any footprints in the area, like in the wide vicinity that might be where the gloom, well, we don't know what it is, the assassin or someone else might have come from?
Yes, that'd be a survival check specifically if you were looking for like tracks or anything of note to catch
Okay.
that kind of attention. While you
Let me-
roll that,
That'll be better than my
the
search
DM is going
check.
to take a minute to grab some water. So
Of course.
Be right back.
Yo!
So
Nat
should we-
20, but he'll hear when he gets back.
Yeah, that was honestly, I can't like at the very beginning of the session, pretty lackluster rolls during the fight, pretty
Yep.
all right, making your shots, and now the nat 20s come.
Listen, it's the RP. It's always the RP. Watch, there's gonna be 0 footprints. I'll have wasted a nat 20 on like
I'm
a miscellaneous useless roll. Yeah,
I'm
you
excited
got
to
something
figure
cool.
out what this divinity is.
I
should
think
we
you're.
let-
I think you're gonna be your god more powerful or something. That's my head. Like my hypothesis is you're getting souls. to
Cameron
her,
got the
sort
same
of.
skill yesterday.
Gotcha.
Oh.
It's
So
probably
it's a cleric thing.
Oh.
It's general.
Yeah. If it's
Mhm.
divinity, either means you're doing something with your god, or you're gaining divinity as if and you're becoming a god. It's one of the two for sure.
For note, it's not clerical, and also secondly, I always keep my headphones on when we have D&D, so I can't hear you. So I did hear the 20. You're good. But yeah.
Yeah, 23 total.
Yeah.
So yeah, not 20.
Divinity thing is for anybody who is like using their own position to gain power or is worshiping a god. So that means oath takers and druids do technically count to get divinity if they choose to go that route.
Not monks.
Again, I'll
Awesome.
explain in full after post campaign, as I've already explained it to Cameron. But I'll lighten up. I'll kind of expand on it a little bit. So you got a 23 for your survival check. You said altogether.
Yes,
You
I'm-
look about for a moment, and you start to kind of notice that all around the area you see tiny footprints of what looks to be either goblinoid or some sort of like creature of that size. You're not 100% sure, as the ground isn't great for prints around the area. But as you kind of look about, you notice that it looks like the group of footprints that you're seeing, these tinier ones seem to have clustered at first, almost as if they were at the center of the frost giants before they were attacked. And as it looks like as the frost giants seem to show up and stand around it, that's when you start to notice out a little further about 3 other sets of unique footprints that seem to be not large compared to frost giants, but somewhat pretty big for a normal humanoid. And they're definitely humanoid. You're not sure what they are, but whatever they were dense, thick enough to or dense enough to leave a full print, and did not care that they did.
So we have the cluster of goblin footprints, presumably surrounded by the
Goblinoid.
frost giants, and then goblinoid, and then there's a separate set of 3 footprints that seem to have approached the group
Yes.
like separate from the.
Yeah, at 3
Okay.
separate points,
And-
it looks like they just came towards it, and then their prints disappeared.
Disappear. So there's no sign of what direction they've gone.
Correct.
Dom will take note of this, and then specifically to Sharoon, but also to the rest of the party, say, there are 3 sets of footprints that seem to be of the size of whoever Sharoon took care of. Humanoid, I'd assume, smaller than us. Well, I look at the shorter members than most giants. If one of them's with Sharoon, 2 are on the loose. We need to be cautious heading back.
Sharoon, are you capable of telepathically reporting to Utham?
He is compared to me.
As you say this, Keznok, you look about, you don't see that Dom has anything on them, and Sharoon doesn't seem to like respond in the slightest. So neither.
Every
seems
time
to-
I've said Sharoon, I have been so close to saying Sigroon.
That was-
Same.
That was on
I know
purpose.
that was the point, and that's why I'm having such a
One
hard
of these days
time.
we'll say Sigroon, and DM will just PM me like, okay, so for this session you will be Sigroon. Like
Yeah.
she just somehow makes a comeback.
Yep.
Sharoon, doesn't seem to have anything of that sort. It just the giant hog just kind of sits there like waiting, like kind
Yeah,
of
because
staring.
I
at
mean,
you.
I knew that Sharoon was a familiar, and I think because I thought some familiars had the ability to.
In
send-
3.5, they get an empathy link. not a messaging link.
Gotcha.
fucking
So it's how they
pissed.
feel.
I should note.
I can get.
Yeah, you would not know in character that this was his familiar.
I thought we were told that.
No, I did say the king's
Oh.
familiar when I introduced.
Oh, okay. My apologies then.
Yeah.
I thought you were keeping that quiet. Okay. Yeah. So you could assume that Utham would be aware that you guys had gotten into combat. But you'd also be safe to assume that Utham expected you lot to go into combat, as he sent you asked for you to go on a patrolling mission for him. So, but yes, you do see that Sharon is just kind of sitting there, laying on the ground, belly on the ground, so that way if you guys decide to climb up on them, waiting.
All right. Fellas, can you help me load up these gentlemen?
6,000 pounds on the light side, frost giants.
Yeah.
How-
I mean, hey, we're a party of 4 fire giants, right? So we should be fine. At least
Yeah,
4 of
my
us for
strength is
one.
Incredible.
So who has a strength of over 29? Raise your hand. No
I
one?
want to.
All right, so none of you can carry these bodies. We're gonna save you a lot of time here.
Even Sharon, if you get something at the bike, could only carry 2 at most.
Yeah, these are very
Does
hefty
anyone
creatures.
does anyone have paper or other means to write something down on?
I got a bedroll.
Because my concern is being able to get the symbol to Utham, and the only other way to achieve that is to cut their skin off, which feels a little disrespectful to the dead. You know.
Well, to be honest, if it's for the sake of getting the information across, you know.
Yeah, Dom will actually look at Kesnanok and go, "You would know better than I in dealings with the dead. It is important to me that the runes and the poison, whatever is left on it, can get to Utham. Not carry them. Is it sacrilegious to cut the skin off the dead if it might help us prevent dead in the future?"
Well, to be honest, it might be sacrilegious for one group and not another. I try to do my best to abide by the death rites of each culture. The only thing
As
that
far
I
as-
universally despise is undead.
Noted. As far as I'm aware, Regan Utham is a man of intellect and cunning, and I do not think he will be angered by us being smart.
All right.
And I look, does anyone in the group have a... Well, actually, Aldrin, I think we would know the goblin had a dagger, so I'll look at Aldrin.
You
I
just
don't
took
have
his.
a cutting.
I
I don't have a knife, bro.
I hold out the 3 knives I took from him and my kamas.
That is a lot of sharp things.
Noted.
I
Still
wouldn't-
wearing the mask, still looking like this ninja-like creature.
Yeah. You said cutlass?
Comma.
Comma.
They're
I don't know
like
what
little
that is.
straight line sickles.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And those 3 daggers, what you said, Royce, they're like very rusty, right?
Yeah, they still hold an edge. So you'd be able to use them. They're just not. They're definitely breaking down. You probably won't get many more uses out of them. For the-
I'll
Go ahead.
I'll use your comma.
I hold it
Okay.
out for you.
I will assist the cleric.
Actually, would it not be best for me to use it? Do you even know how to wield one of these?
I know how to use sharp utensils
I'm just making
to
sure.
cut things.
Is our little friend come to yet? And Dom.
Do not worry, I am proficient in simple and martial weaponry.
As
Don't
two
worry,
those two
I'm
are having
proficient in
that call.
stabbing bitches.
Yes, Aldrin and Kesnuk are talking about this. Dom kind of poking at the goblin that Aldrin is still holding out at arm's length to the side, off the ground that's dangling. It doesn't seem to move as you poke it.
All right.
Hunter, just so you know, the comma is not simple or martial. It's the third. It's exotic.
It's an exotic weapon.
It's an exotic weapon. Caleb's class uniquely gives him the comma and a few other weapons that
Well,
he's
you know
good
what?
with.
Fine. Then, Dom, would you mind holding on to that goblin while me and my buddy here get to cutting? Me and Aldrin.
Of course, I will supervise our guest, and Dom will, I guess, lightly hold on to the rope. He doesn't have this like wrestle this goblin if he wakes up, but he does, you see, loosely have his like left fist lightly clenched. So if the goblin comes to, I can knock him out again with a fair arm strike.
Okay.
So I don't want to interrogate him until we get back to where Utham is.
Okay.
All right, Aldrin, I'm gonna
So
be
I guess
guiding
I
you
don't know
here.
if we can ready reactions in 3.5, but that's essentially what I want to do.
Yeah, I got you. You're good. Okay.
So I'll be like taking my fingers and stretching the skin to give like a nice like sturdy surface. And be like, all right, so you want to carve around it.
Right before the goblin were to get knocked out again, he'd just hear Ned. Well, good morning, little fella.
Well, good morning, little
Less
fella.
scary.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and you're carving off the runes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you cut, they're
Try not to
tiny.
spill the poison.
Yeah, they're very minuscule, so it takes it's gonna take a check. Aldrin, let's just say have you make an attack check with it. I'll set a DC for it off the top of my head.
All right.
And let me know what you get. Okay, 9.
9. Not even close to the
With,
DC.
with like a health action
Yeah,
or no?
that first one, as Keznok goes to like move his finger and pull it out,
Reach
like
it.
straighten it. It straightens it out. You as you get ready to carve, it straightens a little bit too much, and you cut into the rune halfway, cutting it almost in half. As
Done.
2 more corpses to go.
Well, we've got
Two
many
chances.
courses to
yeah,
go.
there's a total of like about 6 of these guys like laying on the ground.
Oh.
So
Okay.
about 5 more
Yeah,
corpses.
chances.
Aldrin, go ahead and give me another one. This time I'll give you a +1, because I imagine you'd be going very slow with this.
All you gotta do is just cut in like a circle or a square, just around it.
Man.
Wait, now he's really pulling a grumpy. He's rolling the same number every time.
He gets a little bit better. It doesn't come. It kind of, as you get to the end of it, you cut off a little bit of the bottom on both of the runes. It's still legible. It's just not perfect. As some of the poison kind of leaks off the marking.
Okay. At this point, I might just fucking carve it, like quite literally, just skin it, like I'm skinning an animal.
Just get the whole half of the neck.
All right, you move on to the
You're
third one, and
carving
as
too close.
Keznok does the same thing and trying to make it easy so you bends out the skin as much as possible. You start just going from a higher up, and like a nice shave starts coming down. Go ahead and give me another roll.
20.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Finally, goddamn.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you shave off this long strip, and well, Keznok, you're not happy about it, but after the last 2, you just kind of look at it and just accept it.
Yeah,
As it carves
It's
it
fucking
off.
fine.
You get it off clean. The marking.
Next time I'll just get a fucking scalpel or a fucking straight razor.
Have one of those handy, let me know.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, how about you?
Get better with your weapon, damn it.
How about you come properly equipped?
If either of you need something to store it in, I have a spare sack we could put it in since, and he looks at Aldrin's sack that's been tied around the head of the goblin.
As you turn, you hear suddenly Ned says, "Good morning, little fella," as the creatures or as the goblin is then suddenly punched in the back of the head and knocked unconscious again.
No,
Yeah,
I'll
Dom just casually.
I'll hold on to the symbol in my backpack.
Okay.
Okay. Try to ensure any poison left doesn't leak off.
Don't worry,
If Megan
it'll be-
can get a sample, it'll be helpful.
it'll be wrapped and stored away from anything else that I have.
He knows me better.
You don't want
It's
that to
definitely
cross
not being
contaminate with
stored next to
anything.
my rations. That's
Food.
for sure.
No. It's in your bedroll, actually. You've wrapped it in the
It's
bed.
in my bedroll.
It's in the blanket.
Yep.
Just make sure wherever it touches, that's where your feet are at night, and not your face.
Yep. All right. Do we
Yep.
want to pack up one of the bodies or just leave them where they lie and
We
Sharoon can
can lift-
probably guide Utham back to him or whatever group that's gonna come and take him away.
Oh. Yeah, there's probably nothing but snow, right? There's like a trail of rocks, like this way, to the corpses.
I can only imagine Sharoon would be able to guide someone back unless we have something to make as a point of interest a little.
The only thing I can think of is Ned could use his quarterstaff to maybe like leave a carved trail, but that'll probably get
club?
blown away.
Yeah.
His quarterstaff, his wooden club.
It's a club.
It's a club.
Oh, well, it's not as cool as I thought it was.
I have a shield because I have no armor, so
Same.
yeah.
As you mention that, or as you lot are kind of just debating this, Sharoon kind of looks, as you mentioned the carrying of the creature, Sharoon just kind of looks down at the one of them, looks back at you lot with like a confused look.
I think Sharoon's pied, and he gestures to. I assume she's still holding the body in her mouth, like she's planning to take that back.
You don't see anything. Its mouth is closed.
Oh, we didn't see her.
Sharoon bite it.
Oh.
No, you didn't see Sharoon. The only thing y'all were able to tell is that when it first attacked, you saw a big splash of something red on the ground where its foot was, or where it was like had its foot, and then that's it. You lot were
Gotcha.
distracted
Alright.
with the goblin, so.
All right. We'll just head back.
We'll give detailed instructions to Reagan Utham, and I'm sure someone will be able to find
Do we
them
want
and
to just
take them
do
back.
we just want to leave, like the daggers, like with them? Oh well, it's with all the snow. It's
We
gonna
could
just
probably
burn
take.
up.
Yeah,
It's
I would say we take them because if they might be able to, out of character, knowing Royce, there might be like something about how the daggers were made. That's well, we're from this kingdom.
You
the
know me
metal
too
is
well.
only found in this part of the continent.
You know
That's
me.
straight, like a fucking murder mystery game.
Would you like me to tell
so
you
I
what
think we
kind of
take-
metal the daggers are made of?
I don't
Yes.
know much about
Yes.
dagger making, but yes.
All right, I will. Give me one moment. I will pull up the answer.
See, I told you.
It's made of vanadium, only found in.
It's no. The only people who've been able to my allies. Wait, no, don't tell me that.
Oh damn it! Yeah, no, yeah, it's all the bananium in the world. No, so as you look it over, it is made of a material called rhogium. None of you are familiar enough to know what this material does, as it's not commonly sold on the market. But each of these daggers are made of a purple-like metal. I believe is how it's described. Let me pull it up though.
Rogue like the class?
I
So,
will
I'm gonna-
post it because. Oh, sorry, Caleb. Go
The
ahead.
only rogue in the party?
I was
Was
gonna
you?
say,
He's not a rogue.
okay. I was gonna say, is it actually just spelled similar to how just rogue and then
Yeah.
IUM?
Yeah, it's so, and I apologize, it's not purple. It looks to be very similar to platinum in coloration. In fact, to the untrained eye, I'm giving this for free on this one here. It would normally be very easily mistaken for platinum, as very few people other than the most skillful merchants can tell the difference. The material is actually tougher, and generally used for stealthier items.
Rusted, but still. Yeah, I feel like that's useful. I feel
If you would like to know how much it
information.
costs, you will have to do an appraise check on that.
I'm more worried about evidence right now, but hey, with a good enough
21.
bluff check from
21?
someone, we could sell these as platinum.
So you would know that
I'm glad.
each of these daggers would roughly go for 2 platinum pieces apiece. These are not cheap, and whoever made these, or whoever gave these to a goblin was either killed or an idiot.
Dumb, because this guy took shit care of them.
I'm gonna.
Oh,
We
What?
have God. God has joined us.
hello?
You've turned on your sound board, dude.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
You're echoing. You're like reverb and distant. These
My bad.
daggers
Yep.
are
There you go. You're good
mine.
now. Yep.
I'm gonna-
Hello, Upa.
Sorry, that was
That's
I've
you?
forgotten that I actually that was Zed's. That was
Oh.
Zed's voice.
Yeah.
It was on pad number. It was on 2 of my numpads, so as I was putting in numbers,
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't even realize that I clicked on it.
Yeah,
That's
you.
great.
As you look at this, so I'll put this down as well, so that way it's mentioned.
I'll take good care of these daggers.
All right. As you pocket the 3 daggers back into your inventory.
Yeah, well, when we sell them, we'll of course be, spreading the currency amongst the group, right?
course. Yes, of course.
It's a group effort to kill that goblin. Well, we didn't kill the goblin. To punch that goblin unconscious.
Almost on cue, you hear as the thing's punched, as the poor goblin is punched once more. The good morning once more from Flanders here.
I can only
Alright.
punch you in the head so many times until it becomes lethal. As
Alright,
Dom,
let's-
like, once again.
Mm-hmm.
Let us head back to the West Wind.
All right.
Alright.
All right. So y'all are gonna
the
climb on
goblin's
the
only-
board.
Mhm.
Yeah, I say the goblin's light enough we can carry it up on Sharon, yeah.
Yeah, the goblin's light enough. It's just that the giant bodies weren't.
Alright,
Um,
Ned, help me get our friend up here to secure them.
As you pull, Aldrin, I assume. Oh no, Dom, you would have the goblin with you. I'd assume you'd be just holding on to them as you hold on to Sharon.
Well, I figured if we both kind of had the goblin between us, we can each have one hand on the boar's like fur and one hand on the goblin's ropes.
Okay, so who's
Just, you know.
volunteering to help Dom?
Me.
All right, Ned.
As I say, I just called upon my great
Alright.
friendly green giant to help.
Yep,
I figured he
green
wouldn't
giant.
have objection.
And this goblin is unconscious, but hearing Ned's whole life story, the whole ride back.
Yeah, it's good for Ned. It's good for Ned to have someone to talk to.
Okay. As he kind of, like, if you've held down, the goblin seems to somewhat stir about halfway through as you start moving. Aldrin, are you? Oh, you're just typing something. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, if Hunter doesn't want any of his shit to get poisoned, I will be
At this
glad.
point, Dom's not gonna
And
keep
wait.
punching it.
Yo, hey, wait, let Aldrin speak then, Maya.
Yeah, no, if Hunter did not want any of his shit to get poisoned, I would be okay with just holding the slab of flesh.
Out in front of you.
Already done. It's okay. Thank you though.
Yeah, just making sure.
I can
Just,
clean
yeah.
this shit up.
Alright.
Deep clean.
As you hold on to the boar stands up, turns, and starts running at top speeds back towards the mountain.
Yep.
About an hour and a half goes by until you get right up to the like edge of the mountain, and then Shroon just kind of like normally looks up at it, looks back at you over the side of the creature's head. Almost like you can sense it had something it was planning to do, but due to the circumstances, the creature has changed its mind as it starts charging straight up the side of the mountain without a care in the world. Its hooves slightly melting prints into the side of the mountain to climb and hold itself on. The creature runs straight up as you lot hold on for dear life. Let's do some strength checks for this. 'Cause
Oh, it doesn't have to be straight.
it does because normally where I would say
Can we do balance?
you
Can
know
I balance? If I'm holding on with my legs? Feel tight?
you know what? I'll give it to you. Fine, yeah, I'll take balance for it. Sure, let's do a balance amongst the group
Yay.
instead of a strength check. So
I was
everyone,
saying, as a monk, I would rely more on balance.
yeah. So all of y'all, give me a balance check.
It doesn't
Natural
matter
20.
either way for me. I got a 18.
I
Yeah.
would have rather a strength check, but okay.
Aldrin, you got a nat 20. Was that what I heard?
Yes, nat 20 for 27.
Jesus. Okay.
23.
10.
10. While the rest of the party easily grabs hold and with almost a joy and laugh, they have
I'm
as
not
the
a dex
creature
build,
turns up.
you fuckers.
Kesnanok looks up at the mountain, feels the movement, and just tries to grab on with all the strength that you start to feel you fail you, Keznok, as you try to hold onto the hairs and they slick through your hand slightly as you panic and slam down your hand as hard as you can, grabbing onto the boar's bare flesh and just pulling and holding for dear life, as the rest are joking and laughing and having a good time. Ned telling his life story to the poor goblin, while Dom and Aldrin seem to be having some light conversation.
So what happened, squirrel? Just like talking with Ned.
Mm-hmm. But as you lot go up the side of this mountain, as the creature finally comes to the top, you find yourself on that side cliff as it kind of walks in and starts to move.
As we're in a normal horizontal position, I want to, just take a quick look at the skin. Like, I didn't break any skin, I'm sure, but, just want to make sure I left no injury.
As you look at the thing, the creature looks like it doesn't have any markings on it. It looks like you got some red markings on it from where you're grabbing, but no, like, actual damage or injury. As you're kind of looking the creature up and down, you're pretty sure if it wanted to toss you off, it would have.
Yeah, I know. I know it wasn't trying to send me off. I know it's just my lack of balance. I'm not a dex build.
He's gonna hold this grudge. But to be fair, Hunter, or your party members.
I'll keep.
I know. I was like, give me at least a choice to be strength. God damn it.
I was like, to be fair, I thought it would just be a me thing. I'm not saying I regret it though.
I will also be
Why,
taking.
you can fall off. If you fell off, I'd feel bad.
What'd you
I
say?
know, right? I'd have to use my shield as a sled down the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
What'd you say, Eldritch, as well?
Pulling a dock on my way down.
Yeah.
As we approach the city, I will be taking off my mask.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, as you pocket it back in, you all come up on top of this cliff edge, kind of climbing off of Sharoon. You slowly kind of find yourselves following Sharoon back towards the castle for a moment, and then as you lot kind of split off to go towards the west wing, you see that Sharoon seems to kind of turn slightly and head the same direction. A few more moments pass as you lot come toward or find yourself at the West Wind Clinic, and Utham seems to be standing outside. Somewhat serious look on his face as he watches you lot coming closer, and you watch as Sharoon spits out this nasty-looking creature onto the ground that is missing its arm. Let me pull up a picture real quick. I know that Utham knows what a gloom looks like, but for the rest of the party's own
It's our first time seeing this creature.
You see it's like tall, skinny, almost elvish-like creature with no natural eyes, the pointed ears, very sharp teeth, missing one of its arms, but very skinny and tall. This thing's pretty lengthy, not tall like to you lot because given your heights from your races, but like tall for like the other humanoids that aren't giants. This is a
tall for a non-giant.
Yeah, this is a pretty weird looking creature. None of you have ever seen one of these before.
Utham's eyes almost immediately narrow, and he kind of tightens one of his fists as he looks at it.
Dom will look at.
Came across the goblin in this bag, and well, that creature was taken care of by your familiar. There were 6 fallen frost giants at the scene. And it came along, and this rune was in each of their necks. And I'll show them the skin flab.
Yeah, the very much carved skin.
Yeah, I read it, and it says Clan Polon.
Utham will nod. And he'll just say, if you got there sooner, you'd be dead. Most likely. Gloom, you don't mess with Gloom. Dangerous.
Well, that's bad news. There was 2 other sets of footprints unaccounted for. Disappeared in the snow. No sign of where they went.
Seems I might have to make a personal walk next time. I don't have many, and that can handle a glue.
I'm just gonna make a little note here, Utham. I'm sorry here, but I want to note when you hear this, Dom actually says 3. Dom, when I meant just to mention when I specified, I did not say it. The last footprints went towards where that creature was, so you are not.
Oh, okay, then yeah, then Dom would.
Yeah.
would say
so,
3 then. Sorry, I assumed one
No,
of
you're
them
good.
led to where the creature had been.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so 3 and 4 gloom.
Go ahead.
Gloom are a people, simply put, they're not counted as being worth anything unless they're skilled assassins in one way or another.
And if they were sent all the way out here, they must have been pretty good at what they did.
Yeah. And the only person worth assassinating, not to brag, in this land, I'm sure you could guess who it is.
Do you think...
I hope it's not me.
Do you think this was to send a message?
Yes, a statement.
I
Anyone
can't
reveal
die
themselves?
yet.
It'd be weird if it was. I never even had dialogue with the Gloom.
You can see physical panic on Ned's face.
Oh, they're
Ned, they're not
Ned.
after you, Ned.
I'm gonna kind of like pat him on the shoulder. They're not here for you.
What is Clan Polon? Is that a clan of the Gloom?
How much do I specifically know about that clan? Because I know the Gloom have a bunch of clans that are all from very different skill sets.
So the rough information you would know is that Clan Polon specializes in potion crafting. And they are specifically infamous for removing key targets right before a major raid. That's kind of their whole... So they're basically like the major poisoning clan. That's kind of their shtick. They show up before a raid's about to happen is what you generally know.
Oh shit.
So Utham would the need to quickly prep now.
Yeah, this is the exact excerpt you'd know from your companions, if you want to read it.
Utham's going to let off a whistle. And how far are we from the center of town?
10 minutes.
And then off in the distance, the party would hear slight quaking in the time of footsteps as something would slowly come closer.
Okay. A few moments go by.
What will you have us do, Reagan? How can we help? How may we serve you?
I think one gloom would probably be too much for most new adventurers. The worst I'll send you on if this gets bad is scouting missions. I won't drag you into something this dangerous.
Utham, you do notice about this point that they do have a hostage that's quite small and has a bag over its head and it's tied.
How much do I know about goblins? Because they're not a...
You've never seen a goblin before.
For what we know, the giants were surrounding a group of what I think we might think were these goblinoid tracks.
Yes, they also seem to disappear, but I didn't think them as important.
I'm gonna call out because we're outside the clinic, right?
Yes, correct.
I'm gonna call out a one of the other doctors to prep whatever this thing is for study.
Okay.
Because we might soon.
One of the younger frost giants comes out, kind of gently takes the creature. I assume with Ned still kind of and Dom holding it down. So. I assume you guys are gonna let the doctor take it right away.
Yeah, of course.
All right, yeah. He grabs onto it and looks at the creature, pulls off the bag, unties the rope, hands the rope to Uldrin, and then hands the bag as well, and then takes the unconscious goblin into one of the back into the clinic.
We weren't really sure what to do with the bodies.
From the ice they came, from the ice they'll return. It's most choose what they want done to them beforehand, but if they died in the snow, well, hauling frost giant bodies is far more work than it's usually worth.
Okay. Good to know.
Are you sure there's nothing we can do to help you? Anything within the kingdom, even?
I mean, if you want to help work for any of the important people in the kingdom, absolutely. Most of them do constant work, smaller requests. Small things do add up and help. So
As you say this, you start to see the creature coming down the road, only a few feet away from the party now. If you'd like to describe it.
Dear God, it's Liberty Prime.
Well, a giant golem is walking down the street.
Dear God, it's Liberty Prime.
He's got an ice beard. That's sick
He
as shit.
does have an ice beard.
Scanning
His
for
name,
gloom enemy.
yeah, his name is Vulgara. Utham would introduce him as his right hand. He was the willing test of a dying frost giant's soul being put into a golem.
And do you
Ned
spell his
definitely
name?
tries to shake its hand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Ned, you hold out its hand. The creature doesn't seem to react, and as you kind of like grab onto one of its like free fist and kind of like try to pull up and down. Oh, yeah, Utham, if you want to put the name in there. As you try, it doesn't move, but the creature doesn't seem to really react to you. As you then pull your hand back away, feeling like you got to shake. It definitely tried to shake your hand. You're pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not sure he likes me very much.
As you say this, the creature kind of stands upright, waiting for its orders.
Vulgara, we have a gloom problem. If you could prep the troops for defense, we're probably getting a raid soon.
It turns and starts walking off.
All right.
And
Vulgara, Vulgara at least can handle a few gloom in a straight fight.
So
I think I'd have to see him risen when I returned.
Yeah.
So I know you told me to head over to that magic guild for learning about healing, but is there any place, or do you have a place for people to learn, or at least train in being like a battle medic in the field of battle, healing people, or is it just same place? Reading up
Depends.
on healing.
You want to learn from books, or do you want hands-on experience?
I've always been a more hands-on kind of person.
You suddenly hear some very wicked cackling from right behind Utham.
Oh God, it's the lady. It's the
As
all-seeing.
the snoring
It's
old
definitely-
lady Magra suddenly stands up and taps you on the back, Utham.
He'll kind of sigh and just turn around and say, yes.
I want him.
She knows I'm him.
Well, she's the best non-magical healer in the city other than myself. That's probably the best offer you're going to get, because I'm going to be busy for a while.
You remind me of my third son. He was really sweet. I watched his head get chopped off in a raid.
Oh.
Thought you couldn't watch.
Okay.
She looks over at you almost like as the eyes somewhat lock on. It's still cloudy. She goes, "You're damn right I can't, but I was young once, you damn little whippersnapper. You and your weirdness. I can tell you're one of them types that don't wear his clothes." She kind of...
It's more free in that way.
I guess after that, at least she points to me. I'll fist over my heart, smack my chest with it, and nod. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's rock and roll.
"I'ma kill you." And she smiles with her like very few teeth left, one kind of like dangling slightly. She grabs a potion out of her like apron, and grabs it and throws it at Kesnok, and the two disappear.
Yes, ma'am. I
Kesnok,
train with the master.
yeah, you are now finding yourself in one of the back clinic rooms that have been sealed off.
Man, listen, guys. Sometimes you gotta rip some muscles to mend them to be stronger. All right. And I'm about to be torn a new one. I can feel it.
You're gonna have more than just.
Yeah, you're
You'll probably learn a lot, though.
Utham,
Listen,
you
that's what I'm
take
here
a
for.
moment, and you recall the last recruit that lady took. She killed by accident.
But was he leveled? Was he a trained adventurer or anything, or was he just a kid?
Well, I mean, he was able to stand his own in a raiding party. pretty much all you'd know. This lady, her last apprentice was died before you came into power, full force.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Worst case, we have other people to help keep him alive.
As the rest of the
However-
party looks back to Utham now that Keznok is gone.
Yeah,
Your
Utham's
party leader has vanished.
Utham takes a step towards the clinic, reaches in and grabs something. He grabs his scythe. This fucking huge weapon. With, I believe I'm not wrong, yeah, it has Final Embrace written along the blade in giant.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And you're heading back into the clinic, leaving the party out here?
No, Utham has raid prep to do.
You know, I like.
Okay.
Even though it's not exactly the same, I kind of see like Keznanok as the warm embrace of death, and Utham as the cold cruelty of death.
Well, you're about to find out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My whole build is to chop people's heads off before they realize what's happening.
Yeah, we're like two sides of the same coin, you know?
So, Utham, are you heading back to the castle? What's the plan here? Just to make sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna find my best to inform to get ready. So yeah.
Utham heads back towards his stronghold.
That's the,
Yeah.
and Dom will like give him a parting word.
He'll just hold up his hand, like the back of his hand facing them as he walks.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
As you do so, Uldren, Dom, and Ned, you are all left on the street in front of the clinic by yourself. Keznanok gone. No idea where he went. What would you all like to do?
Question. Just because Dom's more area, would there be like a weaponsmith, an armory, or like anything Dom can think of that would like that place is gonna get hectic if a raid starts, and they'll probably need extra hands on deck type thing.
Mercantile store, maybe?
You already know there's a smithy and a weaver in town called the Nitwits. That's probably going to be very busy making the weapons and getting ready for gear. There is the Magic Guild that will probably be stocking up on getting potions and helping at the clinic, which is the Challenging Raven. The Adventuring Guild is going to be sending out people to scout the areas and watch for enemies. You would know that the Frostwind company is probably going to be the main backbone and be standing next to Utham at all meetings and conversations, so there's probably not much to do there.
Also, you know the clinic's gonna get attacked. It's always the clinic.
And I was gonna say, then there's the clinic that doesn't, from what you can tell, doesn't seem to have any active military soldiers or residencies.
Don't worry, me and the All-Seeing are here.
We have a few options depending on where you think your strengths lie. A lot of the places in town could use our aid. This place will likely be unguarded. He'll gesture to the clinic. The Nitwits could use hands on deck for smithing. The Adventuring Guild could use scouts or people to flowing, and the Frostwind probably has things handled but can always use help. And the magic users might also need assistance. Personally, I would like to help with the scouting with the Adventuring Guild, but it may be smarter to stay in town.
Damn, I'm trying to help them, goddammit, that's why I'm here.
As Dom kind of walks you each
Yeah, we have to
through.
do with the Adventuring Guild.
Yeah, they gotta get
I'm
their
just
pay.
saying, like, this is future plan. He's talking like what to do after. He hasn't forgotten.
Yeah, that's cool.
Make sure you set aside my portion, but I'll be there. I'll be back, I promise.
What do Aldrin and Ned have to say?
I'm not gonna lie, I lost sound, so I'm not exactly sure where we're at right this second.
They're just looking.
You know what? Sounds like a total Ned thing, anyways.
They're just looking at every important building and thinking where the party be able to help us.
Yeah, what do you think Ned would want to do? We can help with any of the major shops in town.
If there's any like stables or any animals that help, like that's where I would be best. I mean, the clinic I can help a little bit. I do know some ways of nature and healing, but I can't do anything crazy.
DM, I believe the stable setup is down the mountain, right? Because it's not.
Correct. That would be outside.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
down the animals are taken care of.
They're well guarded though, right? Because they're an important import export type.
That's our profit margin. Yeah.
That's also
Yeah.
where most.
But
of
I
the-
also
The-
do want my money.
Every person down there is a leveled ranger or druid. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what are your thoughts? Aldrin.
Aldrin.
Aldrin? Oh, does Aldrin not have
He's
thoughts?
here.
No, it didn't
Well,
sound like it. That's my bad. Well,
Okay.
after procuring our reward, I do think, considering my skill set, I'm best aiding the scouts. Along with you.
I
No,
agree.
I pull out the daggers. I do want to see what we could get for these.
We might our goal then might to head back to the last breath, get our reward, get our next mission, and then perhaps swing by Nitwits and see what information they have on those. I personally cannot stand to sit still, and I do not think my skills would many other places but guarding the clinic or scouting. And rest assured, Ned, our animals they're very important to this kingdom. They'll be one of the most well-guarded things. They'll be fine. And gives him sort of like an encouraging, like comforting, like nod.
Yeah. As you do so, I assume then from there the party is heading towards the Adventurers Guild to start with to get paid.
Yep.
Okay. You head down down back towards the main road, finding the guild once more, the Last Breath Adventuring Guild. Boloff seems to be ordering up fresh or a bunch of new weapons, armor for some soldiers that have come in that were originally adventurers. A few rangers that seem to be discussing some things with him while he's bellowing out orders left and right. He looks over at you lot when you come in, and he goes, "Finally! Alright, it's time for you lot to come and help me out here." He just kind of charges up to you, the smell just emanating from him. He kind of walks up to you, Aldrin, and goes, "Alright, you're the one." Okay. He goes, "I got you." And he pulls aside. He goes, "What'd y'all kill?" What? Huh?
Did we claim the Gloom Assassin was us
No.
out of character?
Absolutely not. You claimed the goblin.
That's what I figured.
you claim the goblin, and you might, if you're lucky, get paid for information.
We killed this goblin.
Uh-huh.
We didn't even kill the goblin. We took it hostage. Do
Well-
we have to clarify that?
Alright. He goes, that'll be one gold piece." He kind of hands it to you, Aldrin.
I'll take it. We also did come across a group of dead, or potentially of an oncoming raid.
Oh, you're the lot that Utham warned me about. Oh, well, alright. How many party members you lot got?
Five?
Five?
5?
Is Utham in the party? Wait a minute.
What?
Oh wait, no, sorry. I think I was counting Sharoon. I think that's what.
Oh, no, Sharon's getting taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Sharoon deserves equal
4?
pay. She
Yeah,
can.
he goes, alright. And he pulls out, he goes, "There's 2 gold pieces a piece," so he hands you 8 gold pieces. He goes, "That's for the raid information." Utham said if you lot are still here in town, he's got more work for you to help out around the area. But stay out of the Gloom's or any sort of raid's way. If you're gonna help stay in town when the battle happens, you'll be killed otherwise.
We are
He looks at you.
here to offer help with the raid if there's anything you need done.
I need a lot done. I need millions of gold. I need the Gloom not to attack, and I need Utham not to suddenly realize that he's going to be right up my ass chasing the adventures that he requested. And I forgot to put the paperwork in for it till this morning. We've got jobs still. I've got a group that's heading this way that I need some bodyguards for. A group of merchants that have said to be coming down south here soon. But that'll be whenever they arrive. For now, he looks at you lot and goes, "I don't know, find something to do amongst the townsfolk, or take some of the some of the guild requests for scouting missions." Utham probably told you not to go deal with the gloom, but hey, who's he to tell you how to get paid? Otherwise, some of the local shop owners may have jobs themselves. I've only got the current military quest, which is mostly scouting.
I just out of character, are they the same scouting jobs as before that we were given?
Basically, well, you do notice now that the one he points to does have a little map of an area you're supposed to, which is the opposite direction towards the collective. You guys went towards the Kobold lands, which are already noted to be a bit volatile currently.
Okay. So there was the
Yeah.
ant nest, the rock heap, the Arctic mains, and then the Hydra were the other quests. Yeah.
Yes, that were posted up. He does as he did mention that the other people in town may have quests. That's just what the guild has currently. You do notice that the guild is militarizing, so you do see most of them are starting to put on uniforms and are starting to join the guards and helping out and such. So it's pretty clear to see that the guild's probably not going to be very active during this time.
So I guess Dom will turn to the other two. We could attempt to take these quests, or since the guild seems to have it handled for now, we could check in with the other shops, maybe visit to see about those daggers. And he kind of nods towards Uldrin.
Well, I would love to go and do a quest right now to help. I would prefer if all of us were here together for that.
Agreed.
I
So,
definitely
off to
think we should
Nitwits?
help out around town. I don't know how much time there is until the invasion, but we definitely want to be nearby the clinic.
Well, there's no telling, I don't think, but I agree. How far is Nitwits from the clinic, just out of curiosity?
Most of the big shops, such as Nitwits, are closer towards the castle, the central castle. So it's gonna be a bit of a walk, but it's still in the same town. You can still get there within.
I was gonna say, if we need to, if the attack starts, we can dash.
It would take you around straight from the castle to the clinic around 10 rounds of double movement, basically, to get to the clinic. That's saying you're at the castle gates, basically, the inner castle gates. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, not at the shops.
Correct. You'll be a little bit closer. It won't be much better, but it will be a little bit. So.
So yeah, unless party thinks otherwise, we can go by Nitwits, which is such a great name.
While the party contemplates that, Keznanok, give me a let's say intelligence check just in general. So that is just your intelligence modifier to a d20.
Yeah. It shall be done.
Cool.
Let's see. There you are. 14.
14, okay. You get a little bit of guidance from your god for a moment as you sit in the back, taking a moment while the woman is helping you and the old lady is kind of lecturing you and teaching you a couple of things about how to bandage some of the local wounds from some of the different creatures, how to recognize some of the more obvious poisons that assassins will use. You start to hear suddenly a woman's voice start to come into your head, and it sounds very motherly, coming on to giving to almost like a warmth to your heart as you hear this. And you hear almost a vague and very quiet 3 days as it kind of fades away just as quickly as it arrives. So back to the rest of the party. As you guys are contemplating how to deal with this situation. Yeah, you guys decide on where you want to go. Nitwits was an option. Did the rest of did Ned or Uldrin have a thought otherwise?
Nope.
Okay. No?
No, probably not, because we're just heading time to do anything major,
Okay.
I'd assume.
All right. Then you lot turn and start heading that direction. We're gonna pick up next session with you lot arriving at Nitwits and starting to prep for the siege. We thank you all for those who watched. We hope you enjoyed. And unlike our live sessions, the party will get their XP post session, but it will be written in the thing, so they have a note of it. We thank you all, and we hope you enjoyed. See you next time.